Chapter 22:12. Kacha. Ling Xiao and the Wuji Saint moved around in the void at extreme speed, like two golden shadows. Every collision was like a volcanic eruption, spewing out endless blazing divine light. Kill! The Wuji Saint's eyes were cold as he roared. His body shook like thunder. Chaotic qi gushed out from his body. The Wuji Saint's body emitted endless energy fluctuations. It was terrifying to the extreme. His physical body seemed to be able to hold up the sky, causing the universe to tremble. The vast chaotic light in the surroundings poured into his body. The Wuji Saint's every move contained an unfathomable heavenly might. His entire body was in harmony with the Great Path, and his every move contained the might of the Great Path's precepts. Divine chains of order traversed the sky, completely sealing off the surroundings. This was the true chaotic sacred body. It could control the chaos, control the Great Path, sweep everything, and be invincible. Roar! The dragon's roar shook the sky. Ling Xiao activated the secret skill of the ancestral dragon. His body shone with golden light, and a vast dragon's might gushed out. A golden dragon shadow appeared. It looked lifelike, and the dragon's roar seemed to be able to shatter the world. Ancestral Dragon Fist. Ling Xiao roared. His body and the golden dragon merged into one. He turned into a giant golden dragon and pounced on the Wuji Saint. The giant dragon claw turned into a fierce fist print, suppressing the surroundings. Ling Xiao had cultivated the secret skill of the ancestral dragon to the Great Accomplishment Realm, and was only one step away from reaching the Great Accomplishment Realm. Although this step was not easy to take, Ling Xiao had glimpsed a trace of the divine power of the ancestral dragon body. He had evolved the immeasurable ancestral dragon fist and engaged in an intense battle with the Wuji Saint. Chaotic Heaven Opening Palm. The Wuji Saint's body was surrounded by chaotic qi. There seemed to be the sun and the moon rising in his eyes. He slammed his palm toward Ling Xiao. The palm print was vast, as if it could split the world. It contained supreme power. The collision of the ancestral dragon fist and the chaotic heaven opening palm was a physical showdown between Ling Xiao and the Wuji Saint. Instantly, a terrifying hurricane was set off, annihilating the surrounding void. The heavenly palace contained a mysterious array space. Mountains, rivers, and all living things appeared inside. Even so, the heavenly palace was trembling violently, as if it could not withstand the battle between the Wuji Saint and Ling Xiao. Boom! 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 When the fist and palm collided, a thunderous boom rang out, causing the surrounding sky to rumble and tremble. Cracks appeared in space and spatial turbulence leaked out from them. Ling Xiao and the Wuji Saint traversed across the sky, as if they did not care about the torn space at all. Their attacks contained endless divine might, as if they could kill all living things. Too strong. How can Long Outyan be so strong? The Yuanqin Saint was shocked, his eyes filled with disbelief. Although he was watching the battle from the periphery, he could still feel the terrifying fluctuations from the battle between Ling Xiao and the Wuji Saint. It made his heart tremble. The Yuanqin Saint knew how strong the Wuji Saint was. The chaotic sacred body was known as the #1 sacred body in the heavens, and it was not a lie. It was said to be invincible among those of the same level. Not only did it have a chaotic physical body, but it also had an immortal chaotic primordial spirit. It was also naturally close to the Great Path, and its strength was extremely terrifying. However, he did not expect that Ling Xiao, who was one level lower than the Wuji Saint, had such terrifying strength that he could be on par with the Wuji Saint. Chaotic Finger. The Wuji Saint's eyes were sharp. He knew that Ling Xiao was strong, so he did not hold back. He used the supreme sacred technique of the chaotic heaven sect. He pointed a finger at Ling Xiao's forehead. His finger traversed the void, and the distance of hundreds of millions of miles was covered in an instant. This finger was extremely sharp, and it locked onto Ling Xiao's forehead, wanting to destroy Ling Xiao's primordial spirit. Immortal Seal. Divine light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. He held the invincible fist print in his hand, and his body exuded an immortal and indestructible fluctuation as he blasted towards the Wuji saint. This was the killing move of the indestructible sacred technique, and it could seal the heavens and shatter everything. Kacha. The immortal seal and the chaotic finger collided, and a blazing chaotic light was produced. It was like metal clashing, and it was extremely sharp. Although the Wuji saint's chaotic finger looked like a single finger, it contained tens of thousands of changes. After being blocked by the immortal seal, it began to pierce towards Ling Xiao's vital parts like a sharp sword radiance. Ling Xiao used the immortal seal, and afterimages appeared around him. They constantly collided with the sharp chaotic finger, causing divine light to flash in the void, and the heavens and earth to roar. Swoosh! The Wuji saint seemed to have found a flaw in Ling Xiao. He turned his finger into a palm and slashed down. Suddenly, a blazing saber radiance passed through the gap and slashed towards Ling Xiao's head. Rumble! Ling Xiao didn't seem to be able to resist. In addition, the Wuji saint's palm blade was extremely sharp. It actually split Ling Xiao into two halves, which then exploded in the void. Teleportation secret technique? A sharp light flashed in the Wuji saint's eyes. He immediately realized that he had only killed an afterimage. Then, without thinking, he slapped his palm behind him. Rumble! Vast chaotic energy gushed out, and Ling Xiao appeared behind the Wuji saint. He was about to throw a punch at the Wuji saint's back, but it was blocked by the Wuji saint's palm. Kacha! Blazing lightning exploded, and the huge rebounding force made the Wuji saint borrow the force to fly out. Ling Xiao's eyes flickered, and his body started to spin like a top. He deflected the huge rebound force, and then kicked out in the air, aiming directly at the Wuji saint's face. You're courting death. The Wuji saint's face turned cold. Ling Xiao's action was simply looking down on and humiliating him. Instantly, a trace of anger appeared in his heart. A sharp sword radiance shot out from his palm, and it turned into a blazing sword aura. He wanted to cut off Ling Xiao's leg. Bang! Suddenly, a dragon's roar shook the sky, and golden dragon scales appeared on Ling Xiao's feet. After colliding with the sword aura, dazzling sparks erupted. Ling Xiao twisted his body in the void, and he shot across the sky at an incredible angle. His entire body seemed to have turned into a big bow, and his invincible fist print was like an arrow. He suddenly shot it towards the Wuji saint. Rumble! Chaotic energy rose around Ling Xiao. He used the Heavenly Emperor's fist, and a mysterious 3,000 worlds shadow appeared around him. The fist print contained vast and unparalleled power that could suppress and kill everything. It made him exude a majestic and domineering aura. The Heavenly Emperor's fist was Ling Xiao's most powerful emperor technique, and it had endless potential. Every time Ling Xiao used it, he could feel that the Heavenly Emperor's fist was extremely powerful, as if it was endless. Chapter 22:13. Boom! In the face of Ling Xiao's unparalleled Heavenly Sovereign's fist, the Wuji saint's body flashed with chaotic light. The chaotic sky-splitting palm was facing the sky. The huge palm print contained a mysterious illusory world. It was as if it was splitting the sky and earth. The Heavenly Sovereign's fist was extremely fierce. When Ling Xiao displayed this fist, whether it was the fist intent or the state of mind, it was as if he had transformed into the ancient Heavenly Sovereign. This fist was invincible and could destroy all enemies. Even though the primal chaos heaven-opening palm was incomparably powerful, it was still broken by the Heavenly Emperor's fist. The chaotic light that filled the sky exploded. The everlasting saint felt his arm go numb, and his entire body trembled. He groaned and was directly sent flying. What? Yuan Chen Saint's body trembled. He was a little stunned. The Wuji Saint was injured by Ling Xiao so quickly. Could it be that he was going to be defeated by Ling Xiao today and end his invincible legend? One should know that the Wuji Saint had been invincible since his debut. In the chaotic ancient land, whether it was the human race's supreme talents or the myriad world's supreme talents, they were all defeated by the Wuji Saint. Even the demon emperor of the demon race was defeated by him. The Wuji saint thought highly of himself. His real goal was to become the legendary son of heaven. He wanted to defeat the son of the heavenly sovereign and become the most powerful person in history. He wanted to become the chosen one and dominate this opportunity. However, looking at the result of this battle, could it be that he was going to be defeated by Ling Xiao before he could fight the son of heaven? So what if you have the chaotic sacred body? Aren't you going to be defeated by Ling Xiao? No, Long Outyen. Wuji saint, you're still too weak. Ha ha ha. The old goat laughed arrogantly and his eyes were full of pride. Ling Xiao will win this battle. Taoist Wuliang also smiled faintly and was full of confidence in Ling Xiao. Although Jin Sei and Feng Qingyang did not say anything, they looked very calm. It was as if they were not worried about Ling Xiao at all and thought that the result of this battle was already decided. Since Ling Xiao had entered the ancient land of chaos, he had killed many geniuses, suppressed many evildoers, and was invincible. They had absolute confidence in Ling Xiao. Not to mention the everlasting saint, even if the son of heaven fought against Ling Xiao, they believed that Ling Xiao would win. Long Outyen, you have completely angered me. The Wuji saint wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and stared coldly at Ling Xiao. There seemed to be an incomparably terrifying aura rising from his body. In the chaotic light, mysterious runes of the Great Path spread out, as if enveloping the entire world. The so-called chaotic sacred body is nothing more than this. Since you're the holy son of the Primal Chaos Heavenly Sect, you should know the Primal Chaos Secret Technique, right? Use your Primal Chaos Secret Technique, or you won't be a match for me. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His eyes were filled with a strong desire to fight. Among the 12 heaven arts, the Primal Chaos Secret Technique was the undisputed number one. Legend had it that it contained the secrets of the 10,000 worlds. It could break through all techniques and be invincible. Ling Xiao was naturally looking forward to the Primal Chaos Secret skill. He wanted to see if the Everlasting Saint had the Primal Chaos Secret skill. If the Everlasting Saint had the Primal Chaos Secret skill, he would obtain it at all costs. You want to see the Primal Chaos Secret Technique? Very good. If that's the case, I'll fulfill your wish. I'll let you know what the true chaotic sacred body is. The Everlasting Saint's eyes were incomparably cold. They were like ice that would never melt and could freeze everything. Rumble. Blazing chaotic light gushed out from his body. The mysterious aura around him surged, causing countless mysterious scenes to appear around him. It was like the birth and death of the universe, but also like the struggle of 10,000 creatures. The Everlasting Saint's body exuded an immortal and indestructible fluctuation. His aura began to skyrocket. He stood between the heavens and the earth. His body exuded a fluctuation that made one's heart tremble. Runes of the laws flickered in his body. His entire body merged with the Great Path. Blazing thunderbolts erupted around him. Crack! He took a step forward, and the sky shattered. With a punch, everything returned to the void. The extremely overbearing fist print pressed down on Ling Xiao. It contained the power to annihilate everything, causing the surrounding sky to tremble. Ling Xiao's heart trembled. It was as if he felt some kind of irresistible power. At this moment, facing the Everlasting Saint, he actually had the illusion that he could not resist. Is this the Primal Chaos Secret Technique? Great! Battle intent rose in Ling Xiao's eyes. Blazing thunderbolts erupted around him. The original thunderbolts emerged, turning him into a Thunder Emperor that could suppress all eternity. Wrapped in monstrous thunderbolts, he charged towards the Everlasting Saint. Heaven's punishment secret technique had erupted. At the same time, chaotic light rose above Ling Xiao's head. A cauldron, a saber, a spear, and a sword appeared. Four powerful emperor weapon imprints intertwined with each other like a divine light storm. He activated the heaven battling secret technique to the extreme. Ling Xiao activated the most powerful force to contend against the Everlasting Saint with Heaven's Punishment Secret Technique and Heaven Battling Secret Technique. Rumble. blazing divine light erupted in an instant. It was as though two resplendent suns had exploded, or as though an endless volcano had erupted. Ling Xiao and the Wuji saint had engaged in an intense battle in the sky. Thunderbolts filled the sky and shot towards the everlasting saint. However, his chaotic fist imprints were unparalleled. His body exuded an aura that was invincible. With a casual strike, he could break the thunderbolts that filled the sky. The Wuji saint stepped forward. As he moved, the world around him shook as he made his moves. Invincible fist prints continued to fall on Ling Xiao, causing Ling Xiao to tremble all over. A blazing storm of divine light burst out. Although the Heaven's Punishment secret technique was unparalleled, it seemed to be restrained by the Primal Chaos secret technique. The original thunderbolts were assimilated by the chaos and disappeared without a trace. The Emperor Yen Cauldron, the Seven Slaughter Saber, the Army Destroyer Spear, and the Sword of Greedy Wolf floated around Ling Xiao, exuding blazing murderous intent. Ling Xiao fought fiercely with the Everlasting Saint. Every strike shook the sky and shattered the sun and moon. The huge heavenly palace seemed to be on the verge of exploding at any time. The Everlasting Saint unleashed the Primal Chaos secret technique. It was as if he had transformed into an ancient great emperor. He moved across the sun, moon, and stars. Thousands of worlds were created and destroyed under his feet. All the experts were turned into nothingness in the chaos. Every time Ling Xiao collided with the Everlasting Saint, he was sent flying. If it wasn't for the protection of the four extreme Tao Emperor weapons, he would have been severely injured. The Everlasting Saint's Primal Chaos secret technique boosted his combat strength to the extreme. He was able to contend against the extreme Tao Emperor's aura. Even the four extreme Tao Emperor weapons couldn't break through the chaotic light defense around him. Boom! 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 Ling Xiao was sent flying by the Everlasting Saint like a rubber ball. It was as if he couldn't form an effective defense or counterattack. Chapter 22:14. Boom! The Wuji Saint's fist landed on Ling Xiao's chest. The chaotic light exploded, and Ling Xiao was sent flying. His chest caved in, and cracks appeared on his body. It was as if he was going to fall apart at any time. Ling Xiao activated the Heaven Battling secret skill to the extreme. The four great imperial weapon imprints were unparalleled, but they were no match for the Wuji Saint's secret skill of chaos. They were shattered. The Wuji Saint stood in the air, and chaotic light gushed out from his body. There was a mysterious scene of endless worlds being born and destroyed. The great Tao intertwined, and runes floated around him. They were as bright as stars, and every move he made had the supreme power to split the heavens and earth. Crack! The Wuji Saint struck out with his palm, and blazing lightning exploded. The palm print covered the sky and pressed down, shattering the giant golden dragon behind Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao staggered back, and then used the secret skill of teleportation to retreat quickly. Is this the secret skill of chaos? Ling Xiao's eyes were sharp. Although his face was a little pale, and there was a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth, the battle intent around him was getting stronger and stronger. The Wuji Saint's Primal Chaos secret skill finally allowed Ling Xiao to witness how terrifying the Primal Chaos secret skill was. Kill! Ling Xiao roared, and five-colored divine light gushed out from his body. He used the secret skill of 5 elements to devour Zhou Tian's 5 elements Great Tao origin. At the same time, he used the secret skill of Yin Yang, and turned it into a blazing Yin Yang sword light, which slashed toward the Wuji Saint. The Yin Yang sword light seemed to have split the heavens and earth into two. It was extremely sharp, and could cut through everything in the void. Clang! The Wuji Saint's expression was cold. He stretched out his arm to block the attack. His arm was shrouded in chaotic mist, and it showed chaotic colors. When it collided with the Yin Yang sword light, the sound of metal clashing rang out. He clapped his palms, and the Yin Yang sword light was caught between his palms. It suddenly exploded. From the Wuji Saint's palms, a chaotic light shot toward Ling Xiao. It was like a divine chain of order, and it wanted to bind him. Whoosh! Ling Xiao soared into the sky. The divine light of the 5 elements around him was dazzling, giving him an aura that was impenetrable. At the same time, he used the sky-swallowing secret technique, and a vast sky-swallowing divine sea appeared behind him. His entire body became illusory. That ray of chaotic light instantly shot into the heaven-devouring divine sea and stirred up monstrous waves. Ling Xiao activated the heaven-devouring secret skill with all his might and devoured the chaotic light completely. Then, rays of reincarnation light appeared from the heaven-devouring divine sea. They contained the past and the future, nurturing the mystery of life and death. They covered the sky and shrouded the Wuji saint. Samsara. Ling Xiao shouted coldly. The light of reincarnation seemed to have completely locked onto the Wuji saint. It wanted to cut off the Wuji saint's lifespan and send him into the cycle of reincarnation. The secret reincarnation technique erupted. This was the first time Ling Xiao had fully activated the secret reincarnation technique. Although his current cultivation was not enough to fully activate the secret reincarnation technique, the light of reincarnation was extremely terrifying. Even a saint would find it difficult to resist it. Circles of reincarnation light rotated. Every rotation seemed to be able to cut off tens of thousands of years of lifespan and destroy endless vitality. However, the Wuji saint was shrouded in the light of reincarnation. The chaotic light around him was eternal and mysterious. It actually resisted the attack of the light of reincarnation. It seemed like he was not affected at all. Secret skill of the 5 elements, secret skill of the yin-yang, secret skill of the sky-swallowing secret skill, and the secret reincarnation technique? How do you have so many secret skills of the heaven techniques? The Wuji saint's eyes were filled with shock as he stared at Ling Xiao. Kacha. Chaotic light gushed out from his arms. Runes appeared on his arms. Then, he pushed his arms out. The blazing runes exploded, and the light of reincarnation that shrouded him was shattered. The Wuji saint's heart was extremely unsettled. He became more and more curious about Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao had so many secret skills of the heaven techniques. This kind of heaven-defying opportunity and creation made him a little jealous. Although he had the chaotic sacred body and had inherited the secret skills of the chaos, it still took him countless years of hard work to cultivate the secret skills of the chaos to the minor completion realm. Now, Ling Xiao knew so many secret skills of the heaven techniques, and his attainments in each of them were not low. Rumble. The battle between Ling Xiao and the Wuji saint was getting more and more intense. Although Ling Xiao had several secret skills of the heaven techniques, they were all restrained by the secret skills of the chaos. As a result, Ling Xiao was unable to form an effective counterattack. Instead, he began to suffer heavy injuries under the Wuji saint's attacks. Streaks of chaotic light blasted into Ling Xiao's body, causing his body to tremble. Cracks appeared on his body, as if it would collapse at any time. Chaos, the origin of all skills, the origin of the heavenly way. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of understanding. His body was buzzing and trembling. Similarly, mysterious chaotic light emerged, causing his body to become stronger. The chaotic light blasted into Ling Xiao's body by the Wuji saint seemed to have become nourishment for Ling Xiao's body. It caused his body to undergo some kind of transformation, becoming more powerful and terrifying. Roar. The dragon's roar shook the heavens. Ling Xiao's body emitted a dragon's roar that shook the heavens. The originally dazzling golden dragon started to turn chaotic. An ancient and mysterious energy gushed out from Ling Xiao's body. Crack. Lightning blazed around him, and chaotic mist filled the air. Blazing rays of light illuminated the sky. An extremely terrifying energy fluctuation erupted from his body, spreading out halos of light. The Wuji saint's secret skills of the chaos seemed to have become a whetstone to refine Ling Xiao's body. It caused Ling Xiao's body to undergo some kind of bizarre transformation, and his strength began to skyrocket. Kill! Ling Xiao roared and blasted out a punch. His fist print was unparalleled, containing a vast heavenly emperor fist intent. The chaotic void in front of him exploded, as if an immortal world had emerged from it. The Wuji saint only felt an invincible aura, as if an ancient great emperor had awakened. The unparalleled heavenly emperor fist intent caused his expression to change slightly. Chaos, creation as work. The Wuji saint roared and blasted out both his fists. His fist print was unparalleled, containing an unparalleled divine power that could pierce through the world. It collided directly with Ling Xiao's fist. Crack! The blazing divine light exploded, and the primal chaos energy surged. It was as if an ancient world was about to shatter. The blazing divine light fluctuations spread out, causing the heavenly palace to tremble violently. Runes exploded one after another, and then, the heavenly palace split open from the middle. Rumble. Chapter 22:15. The ancient and mysterious heavenly palace was unable to withstand the blow from Ling Xiao and the Wuji saint, and it shattered from the middle. The dazzling runes exploded, and divine light swept out. It was as if a huge storm had been set off between heaven and earth. The blazing divine light pillar pierced through the 9 heavens. It was vast and mysterious, and it exuded an incomparably ancient aura. Above the firmament, a huge chaotic vortex appeared in an instant, spewing out endless auspicious gas. It was as if there was an ancient and mysterious aura emanating from it. What is that? The old goat, Taoist Wuliang, and the others were all shocked, and their eyes were filled with disbelief. The good fortune jade disc and the ancient scripture have both entered that place. Is this the real place where the treasures are hidden? The Yuanqin saint was also shocked. He saw that the creation jade disc fragment and the ancient scripture in the heavenly palace had entered the chaotic vortex at an extremely fast speed when the heavenly palace had shattered. The aura that gushed out from the chaotic vortex shook everyone's spirit. They felt as if they were floating in the air, as if they could break through the sky at any time. Ling Xiao and the Wuji saint, who were fighting fiercely, could not help but stop. Their eyes were filled with uncertainty. The sudden change in front of them was also beyond their expectations. Within the ancient aura, there was a looming Supreme Emperor's aura. It was as if there was an ancient great emperor hidden within it, and it made one's heart tremble. Swoosh! Swoosh! Ling Xiao and the Wuji saint looked at each other, and both of them leaped up at the same time, rushing toward the chaotic vortex. Both of them were decisive people. From the aura emanating from the chaotic vortex, they could tell that there must be a supreme treasure hidden within. Perhaps it was the real great emperor's inheritance. Therefore, they did not hesitate to give up the fearless battle and chose to enter the chaotic vortex. Not to mention, the creation jade disc fragment and the ancient scripture that they were fighting for had all entered the chaotic vortex. Let's go. Who knows, there might be some primeval emperor's inheritance hidden here. We can't miss such an opportunity. The old goat was also eager to give it a try. His eyes were filled with excitement as he leapt into the chaotic vortex. Jin Sei, Daoist Wuliang, Feng Qingyang, and even Yuanqin Saint Sun all flew into the sky at the same time and entered the chaotic whirlpool. Rumble. The surroundings were surging with chaotic energy. The divine light was dazzling and blazing like lightning, causing the void to distort. Time seemed to have stopped here. This was an incomparably mysterious void tunnel. Ling Xiao and the Wuji saint had broken through the heavenly palace and coincidentally opened this mysterious place. After passing through the chaos passageway, Ling Xiao appeared in an unfamiliar space. The sky was overcast, and the earth was vast beyond compare. In the distance, there were undulating mountain ranges. They looked like divine swords that soared into the sky, incomparably steep. There were patches of black aura in the void, presenting an evil and strange aura fluctuation. This is Devil Qi. Could it be that we've arrived at the demon realm? Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat, and his expression became somewhat solemn. He could sense that the black aura in the void was extremely pure Devil Qi. It was a power unique to the demon clan experts. Why would such a space be sealed in the heavenly palace? Devil Qi. The Wuji saint's expression also changed slightly as he sensed the strangeness of this space. Rumble. At the same time, lightning flashed in the void, and heaven and earth shook. Endless devil chi surged as if it had discovered Ling Xiao and the Wuji saint. A huge, pitch-black palace appeared, surrounded by circles of black flames, causing one's heart to tremble. Most importantly, the emperor's aura that Ling Xiao had sensed was coming from this palace. Could this be the demon emperor's inheritance? The old goat and the others had also entered this space. When they saw the black palace in the void, they were all shocked. After all, this space looked too strange. It was extremely quiet all around, as if there were no living creatures. There was only the black palace in the void, exuding an ancient, majestic, and oppressive aura fluctuation. Wuji Saint, do you still want to continue fighting? Ling Xiao glanced at the Wuji Saint and asked nonchalantly. I'll spare your life for now. Since this place is related to those demon bastards, Wuji Saint, am not someone who doesn't know what's important. With the demon clan before us, the human clan naturally has to unite against them. We can't let those demon bastards see us as a joke. The Wuji Saint sneered coldly. That's for the best. If there are people from the demon clan, then we'll get rid of them first. We'll rely on our own methods to obtain the opportunities here. Ling Xiao said nonchalantly. He had changed his view of the Wuji Saint. The competition between him and the Wuji Saint could only be considered as an internal conflict within the human clan. However, when it came to the demon clan, it was a deep hatred. The Wuji Saint still looked at the big picture, unlike the scums of the human clan who had defected to the demon clan. That's right. I'd like to see what kind of demon bastard dares to behave atrociously in front of me. The Wuji Saint said coldly. Then, the chaotic aura around him rose. He directly soared into the sky and flew toward the black palace in the void. Rumble. Outside the black palace, circles of flames rose. They contained an extremely pure aura of the demon clan. Black runes flickered and formed a powerful demon clan seal. This seal. It hasn't been set up for long. It seems that there are demon bastards among them. The Wuji Saint's eyes flashed sharply. Then, a blazing light rose from his body. Vast chaotic aura exploded, and an unparalleled fist print blasted forward. Crack! The huge fist print was like an ancient mountain. It directly blasted on the demon clan seal. Suddenly, heaven and earth trembled. Even the huge black palace trembled slightly. However, the demon clan seal was extremely sturdy. The Wuji Saint's fierce punch did not break it. It only caused the seal to shake violently. Who is it? Who dares to disturb my young master's cultivation? However, the Wuji Saint's actions still alarmed the people in the Black Palace. A murderous voice exploded in the void. Swoosh! 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 In the black flames, several figures suddenly appeared. They exuded an extremely powerful aura. In an instant, they surrounded the Wuji Saint, Ling Xiao, and the others. Chapter 22:16. They were led by two white-haired old men. One was in a black robe while the other was in a white robe. The black-robed old man's aura was dark and evil, while the white-robed old man's aura was pure and holy. Their auras were completely different, but their bodies contained the original power of the demon clan. These two old men were surrounded by sage aura, and their auras were vast and unparalleled. They were both sages. The two saints led thousands of cultivators to surround Ling Xiao, the Wuji Saint, and the others. Their aura was extremely terrifying. Murderous intent filled the air, causing the void to tremble. It was as if thousands of soldiers and horses were charging at them. There are so many demon bastards here. The old goat was shocked. He did not expect the Wuji Saint's punch to be like poking a hornet's nest. It immediately attracted the two demon clan sages and thousands of experts. Did they just say young master? Could it be that there's a demon clan genius or emperor's son cultivating here? Taoist Wuliang's eyes flashed as he heard the key point. If two demon clan sages are guarding this palace, I think it's definitely not ordinary. It's very likely to be the inheritance of the demon emperor. Feng Qingyang also said coldly. Human clan. How dare you disturb my young master's cultivation? Leave your lives here. The black-robed sage said coldly, and his eyes were filled with unconcealable killing intent. These few people seem to be geniuses of the human clan. They have powerful qi and blood, and their strength is extraordinary. If we refine their flesh and blood, we might be able to increase our strength greatly. Brother He, let's kill them first before anything happens. The white-robed sage said coldly. Rumble. The two of them were surrounded by sage aura, and their aura was extremely terrifying. It was as if darkness and light were intertwined, causing them to explode with powerful energy waves. A bunch of demon bastards. They're just chickens and pottery dogs. Long out Yen, we didn't decide the winner just now. Why don't we each take one of these two old dogs and see who kills them first? What do you think? The Wuji saint stared at the two demon clan sages in front of him and sneered. The way he saw it, the two demonic saints were like prey in his hands. He was not afraid at all. Instead, he was eager to kill the demonic saints. All right. Ling Xiao nodded, and the killing intent in his eyes seemed to have materialized. The enmity between the human clan and the demon clan had started at the beginning of the epoch. It was said that the previous era was the era of the devil race, and the human race was incomparably miserable. They were treated as pigs, dogs, cattle, and sheep by the devil race, and were casually slaughtered. They were even reared in captivity by the devil race experts and became their food. That was the darkest time of the human race. Countless humans died tragically, and the human race had already formed a blood feud with the devil race. At the end of the devil race's era, a peerless genius emerged from the human race. Once the heavenly sovereign emerged, the human race finally had hope. They gradually got rid of the control of the devil race. Moreover, during the Great Tribulation of the era, they competed with the experts of various worlds and eventually became the lord of the era, establishing the human race's era. However, the foundation of the devil clan was incomparably deep. They had more than one great emperor. Although the 9 emperors of the human clan had appeared in the human clan, it was said that several of them had died in the hands of the devil clan's great emperor. This blood feud had lasted from the beginning of the human race's era to the present. When the human race and the devil race met, they would fight to the death. Only one of them could survive. Therefore, whenever Ling Xiao met the experts of the devil race, he would kill them without hesitation. You're courting death. The words of the Wuji saint and Ling Xiao had thoroughly angered the two sages of the devil race. Although they could see that Ling Xiao and the Wuji saint's cultivation was extraordinary, the two of them had not attained the Tao and become sages. Yet, they wanted to kill the sages. This aroused the boundless killing intent in their hearts. Rumble. The white-robed sage and the white-robed sage were surrounded by sage aura and attacked at the same time. One of them exuded a dark aura, while the other exuded boundless light. As they intertwined, the light and darkness shrouded the entire sky, containing monstrous killing intent. The thousands of experts from the demon race roared furiously as they charged forward. They were like a magnificent army charging forward. Their terrifying aura caused one's heart to tremble. If it was an ordinary person, he or she would have been killed before he or she could even fight back. The black-robed old dog is mine. The Wuji saint said coldly. He took the lead and charged towards the black-robed sage. Chaotic light gushed out from his body. He did not use any special skills, but simply threw out a punch. Kacha! The sky seemed to have exploded. Boundless black devil light surged. The domineering punch lit up the shock in the eyes of the black-robed sage. Then, it exploded. In the void, the light and darkness intertwined. However, in front of the punch of the Wuji saint, it shattered. The Wuji saint charged towards the black-robed sage in a mighty manner. Kill! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with killing intent as he stared at the white-robed sage. When he was in the war god's world, he had fought with the experts of the devil race. From the mortal realm, immortal realm, sage-to-be realm, and sages of the devil race, he had accumulated a wealth of experience. Ling Xiao had long known how to kill the experts of the devil race in the shortest time possible. He used the secret teleportation technique to fly across the sky. His arms seemed to be pushing the sun, moon, and stars as he moved. Behind him, the vast sky-devouring divine sea erupted and shrouded the white-robed sage. The sky-devouring secret technique was a supreme technique that could restrain the experts of the devil race. It had always been successful, even against the sages of the devil race. Rumble. The old goat, Jin Se, Taoist Wuyang, Feng Qingyang, and the Yuanqin saint charged towards the thousands of experts of the devil race. They were all experts of the third realm of heaven treading. Each of them had an imposing manner, and their attacks were swift and fierce. Like tigers in a flock of sheep, they launched a massacre. The experts of the devil race formed a powerful battle formation with each other. However, in front of the experts of the third realm of heaven treading, they were like paper. They were all torn and crushed, and then completely killed. The void was filled with a strong smell of blood. Broken limbs were everywhere. It was like azure hell. Boom! The black-robed sage tried his best to block the Wuji Saint's chaotic fist mark, but he found that the Wuji Saint's chaotic fist mark was becoming more and more domineering. It had completely locked him in place, leaving him nowhere to run. Although the black-robed sage had the cultivation of the saint realm and possessed the power of the Great Path Law, the Wuji Saint was surrounded by chaotic qi and was invulnerable. As a result, the black-robed sage's attack couldn't do any damage to the Wuji Saint. The black-robed sage was extremely aggrieved. It didn't take long for him to be completely at a disadvantage. On the other side, the white-robed sage looked even more miserable. Rumble. The vast sky-devouring divine sea erupted like a mysterious world of devouring, trapping the careless white-robed sage within. The vast sky-devouring divine power erupted and began to devour the origin energy within the white-robed sage's body. The white-robed sage's soul almost left his body. He struggled violently, but there was no way for him to escape the range of the sky-devouring divine sea. Chapter 22:17. Kacha. Ling Xiao's eyes were sharp as he punched out. The chaotic light around him rose, and the illusory image of the 3,000 great worlds appeared. The heavenly emperor's fist had completely exploded. The white-robed saint, who was already deep in the heaven-devouring divine sea, had a drastic change in his expression. Blazing light gushed out from his body, and a pair of flawless white wings grew out from his back. He rose into the air and struggled out of the heaven-devouring divine sea's range, wanting to escape from Ling Xiao's punch. As a saint, his senses were extremely sharp. He could sense the terror of Ling Xiao's punch, and it was not something he could contend with. Rumble. The blazing fist print pressed down, but the white-robed saint was still a little too slow. The pair of wings behind him suddenly exploded, and the heavenly emperor's fist landed on his chest, directly piercing through him. Blood rained down from the void, and it looked extremely ferocious. Die! Ling Xiao said coldly. The heaven-devouring secret skill exploded once again, completely swallowing the white-robed saint. This time, the white-robed saint did not have the slightest strength to resist, and his entire body exploded into pieces. The saint and the Great Path were one, and his physical body was constantly being nourished by the Great Path origin energy. The flesh and blood of the white-robed saint contained an incomparably vast amount of energy. At this moment, all of it had been devoured by Ling Xiao, and it had become a part of Ling Xiao's body, causing Ling Xiao's aura to skyrocket. On the other side, chaotic light gushed out from the Wuji saint's body. He grabbed the white-robed saint with both of his arms, and unparalleled divine power exploded, directly tearing the white-robed saint in half. It was extremely brutal. The Wuji saint frowned slightly. He did not expect to fall behind Ling Xiao, and that Ling Xiao would kill the white-robed saint first. Thank you for letting me win. Ling Xiao smiled faintly at the Wuji saint. The Wuji saint snorted coldly. He was in a bad mood, and his killing intent was boiling. He instantly rushed towards the experts of the demon race. His fists were like dragons, and they contained unparalleled energy fluctuations. Almost every time he punched, an expert of the demon race would explode into a bloody mist, and their souls would be completely scattered. In the blink of an eye, the two sages of the demon race were killed by Ling Xiao and the Wuji saint without any resistance. The thousands of devil race experts were completely shocked. Their eyes were filled with fear and despair. However, none of them fled or begged for mercy. Instead, their gazes became increasingly vicious. Blazing demonic light gushed out from their bodies as they burned their life essence and charged toward Ling Xiao and the others. Boom! 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 They exploded one by one in the void, creating blazing storms of divine light. They wanted to take Ling Xiao and the others down with them. However, the difference was still too great. Their deaths were destined to be worthless. It didn't take long for all the devil experts to be slaughtered. The air was filled with the stench of blood. Severed limbs were flying all over the place. It was like a scene straight out of hell. Kill! Ling Xiao and the Wuji saint looked at each other and rushed toward the huge black palace at the same time. Their bodies exploded with supreme power as they began to bombard the demon race's enchantment around the black palace. They didn't relax at all because they knew that there was still a gifted genius of the demon race in the black palace. At this moment, he might be cultivating a supreme secret skill of the demon race or receiving the inheritance of a supreme expert. To be able to have two sages and so many devil race experts to protect him, the gifted genius of the demon race must be extremely powerful. They couldn't relax at all. Rumble! The Wuji saint unleashed the supreme chaotic sky-splitting palm. Every palm print contained the power to destroy heaven and earth. When it hit the demon race's enchantment, the demon race's enchantment trembled violently. Ling Xiao took out the flipping sky seal and used its supreme power to suppress the demon race's enchantment. The flipping sky seal was a supreme treasure that contained the power of the supreme emperor. At the same time, the Thunder Spirit King had received the secret skill of Heaven's Punishment from Ling Xiao. It possessed the divine power of Heaven's Punishment. When it struck, a large number of runes exploded, causing the demon race's enchantment to tremble. The flipping sky seal. It seems that he didn't reveal all his trump cards in the battle with me just now. The Wuji saint's eyes flashed as he glanced at Ling Xiao and thought to himself. The power of the flipping sky seal was extremely terrifying. In particular, he could feel the Supreme Emperor's power from it. This made him secretly shocked and even more cautious of Ling Xiao. Crack! After a while, under the joint attack of Ling Xiao and the Wuji saint, the demon race's enchantment suddenly exploded. Endless demon light surged and swept out in all directions like a storm. At the same time, the huge palace in the center was exposed. It was a demon palace floating above the ninth heaven. Black demon chi surged around it. It was made of some kind of mysterious metal and exuded an ancient, mysterious, and majestic aura. No one knew how long this black palace had existed. It looked magnificent and extraordinary. When Ling Xiao and the others saw it, they felt small in their hearts. At this moment, the two black doors were tightly shut. However, Ling Xiao and the Wuji saint could feel a strong smell of blood coming from the black palace. There were also the roars of fierce beasts that shook the sky. It seemed that some kind of mysterious transformation was taking place inside the palace. Oh no! No matter who is inside, we must stop him. Ling Xiao's eyes became extremely sharp. A strong sense of crisis emerged in his heart. It was a warning from the secret skill of fate and the wordless heavenly book. It seemed that if he didn't do something, he would be in great trouble soon. Boom! Ling Xiao didn't even think about it. The flipping sky seal suddenly expanded like a black immemorial divine mountain. It was surrounded by blazing lightning and surging chaotic light. A vast supreme emperor's power erupted from it and suppressed the black palace in an instant. An earth-shattering sound rang out in the void. The black palace trembled violently. Numerous black runes and ancient characters appeared on its surface. In an instant, an immeasurable amount of light radiated out in all directions. However, the Black Palace was stronger than Ling Xiao had imagined. The flipping sky seal was so fierce that even a saint would be crushed into powder in an instant. Even a supreme-grade holy treasure would be completely turned into scrap metal. However, the Black Palace was not damaged at all. Break! An ancient and mysterious voice burst out from the Wuji saint's mouth. Crack! His glabella seemed to split open. Endless divine light surged. A fierce saber light burst out from his glabella. There seemed to be a mysterious figure that made the saber light burn to the extreme. It was as if it could cut open the heavens and myriad worlds, destroy all living things, and return everything to chaos. Chapter 22:18. This is the power of an extreme Tao Emperor weapon. Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat. He could feel that the saber light was too terrifying. It contained a powerful extreme Tao Emperor aura. It was as though an ancient great emperor had completely awakened and was about to split open the chaos and annihilate the endless spacetime. The Wuji saint possessed an extreme Tao Emperor weapon. Isn't the chaotic heaven sect's extreme Tao Emperor weapon the chaotic Yuan sky bell? Where did this saber-shaped extreme Tao Emperor weapon come from? Ling Xiao frowned slightly as he thought to himself. It seemed like the Wuji saint was not as simple as he had imagined. He had many secrets and trump cards that he had not revealed. Boom! As the chaotic saber light fell, the endless runes on the Black Palace were annihilated. It was as though the Black Palace could not withstand the power of the saber and was split into two halves by the chaotic saber light. Endless demonic light exploded. The Black Palace was split open by the Wuji saint's saber and the scene within was revealed. Rumble! In the Black Palace, there was a surging sea of blood. Bloody light filled the air and it contained an evil and terrifying power fluctuation. A blood cocoon that was as bright as a bloody sun floated in the sea of blood. It was beating like a heart. Every time it beat, there was a strange rhythm. At the same time, it was devouring the endless energy in the sea of blood. One could vaguely see that the blood cocoon was crystal clear. A mysterious figure emerged from it. It looked like a young man. His aura was terrifying and his power was constantly increasing. After the Wuji saint's chaotic saber light split the Black Palace, it was blocked by the blood cocoon. The sound of metal clashing could be heard. It was as if the saber light had struck a metal rock, and then it was annihilated. What's that? The old goat exclaimed. There's someone in the blood cocoon. It seems like he's the young lord that the demon race experts mentioned. He seems to be receiving some kind of inheritance. Daoist Wuliang also furrowed his brows, his eyes filled with solemnity. The blood cocoon in the Black Palace looked extremely strange. However, for some reason, everyone felt their scalps tingle when they saw the blood cocoon. They could feel an extremely dangerous fluctuation coming from it. Divine punishment. Killing intent flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes, and he made his move decisively. He used the flipping sky seal to control the secret skill of divine punishment. Blazing lightning rose around the flipping sky seal, as if it had turned into a primordial thunder pool, containing the majestic and mysterious light of divine punishment. It rumbled and suppressed the blood cocoon. The power of thunder was also known as the power of evil slaying. It was extremely strong and domineering. It had a great restraining effect on evil powers like the demonic Tao. Although Ling Xiao did not know what the blood cocoon was, nor did he know who was in it, he had a premonition that if the person in the blood cocoon came out, they would all be in trouble. Kill! The Wuji saint's eyes were also extremely sharp. Chaotic light rose around him and turned into a chaotic divine spear in his hand. Unparalleled divine power erupted from his body. He grabbed the chaotic divine spear and threw it toward the blood cocoon. The joint attack of the two supreme geniuses was enough to kill a saint. It had the power to destroy the heavens and earth. They attacked the blood cocoon at the same time. Boom! The flipping sky seal blasted on the blood cocoon. Blazing lightning exploded. Rings of divine punishment contained the power to destroy everything. They constantly annihilated the surrounding blood light, causing the blood sea to explode. Streaks of blood wolves rushed into the sky. The blood cocoon buzzed and trembled. It actually emitted an incomparably sharp sound that contained an extremely powerful sound wave divine ability. As it swept out, it caused Ling Xiao and the others to feel a pain in their heads. Even their consciousness was rumbling and shaking. Kacha! The Wuji Saint's chaotic divine spear also shot at the blood cocoon at the same time. Terrifying chaotic light exploded. Unparalleled divine power acted on the blood cocoon in an instant. The blood cocoon seemed to have reached its limit. It began to tremble violently, and an endless amount of blood light gushed out. It was as if a resplendent sun had exploded, and an endless amount of multicolored light gushed out in an instant. Boom! The chaotic divine spear shattered in the face of the explosive power of the blood cocoon. Even the flipping sky seal shook violently and flew back. However, the blood cocoon also shattered under the effect of the chaotic divine spear and the flipping sky seal. A fragrant smell wafted out from within. Buzz! The mysterious blood beads emitted 9-colored light. At the same time, a fragrance assailed their nostrils, causing the surrounding area to transform into many mysterious ancient life worlds. The 9-colored blood beads contained an incomparably vast amount of life essence. Even from a great distance, the aura caused Ling Xiao and the others' spirits to soar. Their eyes instantly lit up. Although they did not know what the 9-colored blood beads were, they knew that they must be supreme treasures. At the same time, a voice that contained monstrous anger exploded in the void. You killed my servant, destroyed my palace, and spared my cultivation. All of you must die. Rumble. The figure in the blood cocoon instantly emerged. It emitted an extremely terrifying aura, causing the surrounding void to tremble at the same time. Endless black demonic light and blood light intertwined and wrapped around his body like giant pythons. It was a young man in a blood-red robe. He was tall and slender, and his skin was as clear as snow. His face was incomparably handsome, and there was a demonic feeling about him. His eyes were like blood moons, revealing monstrous killing intent. He had a head of demonic blood-red hair, like blood-red pythons, densely intertwined. It made his scalp tingle at a glance. An ancient, terrifying, and mysterious aura was awakened from his body. In an instant, it shook the surrounding sky, causing the endless black demonic aura to begin to surge. Who are you? The Wuji Saint said coldly, killing intent surfacing in his eyes. He could feel that the young man in the blood-red robe contained an extremely terrifying power fluctuation. It was even a little stagnant. Apparently, he had obtained some kind of inheritance and had not had time to refine it, causing his cultivation to skyrocket. This made the Wuji Saint even more furious. If the young man in the blood-red robe really refined that kind of inheritance, they would be in big trouble. I am the Blood Prison Emperor. You despicable humans are only fit to be the blood food of my sacred race. Since you dare to come here today, then leave your lives behind. The Blood Prison Emperor licked his lips, and the killing intent in his eyes was almost tangible. Blood Prison Emperor. I've never heard of you. How dare you speak so arrogantly? Soon you will be able to go down and find your subordinates. Chapter 22:19. Blood Prison Emperor's Son. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. According to the information he got from Dark Ling Xiao, the Devil World had sent out 3 emperors, the Undying Emperor, the Blood Prison Emperor and the Original Emperor. The Blood Prison Emperor's son ranked second. He was the son of the Blood Prison Emperor. He cultivated the Blood Prison scripture and was more difficult to deal with than the original emperor. Ling Xiao did not expect to meet the Blood Prison Emperor's son here. You've disturbed my cultivation. Go to hell. The Blood Prison Emperor's son's eyes were full of monstrous killing intent. He was extremely angry. He was at the critical moment of accepting the inheritance. If he was given more time, he would be able to completely obtain the inheritance of the Blood Demon Emperor. That's right, this Black Palace was left behind by a Blood Devil Imperial Emperor of the Devil World. It contained the supreme inheritance of the Blood Devil Imperial Emperor. The Blood Hell Imperial Emperor had been cultivating here for some time, and his cultivation base had reached the third heaven realm. He was about to become a saint and obtain the inheritance of the Blood Devil Imperial Emperor, but he was interrupted by Ling Xiao and the others. The anger in his heart could be imagined. Rumble. The blood-red light around him rose, and runes intertwined, turning into blood-red chains of order. In an instant, the chains pierced through the void and shot towards Ling Xiao and the others. At the same time, the Blood Prison Emperor's son's feet trembled, and endless blood-red light surged around him. It was as if a vast and terrifying blood-red world had descended, enveloping the void in it. In the blood-red world, the void trembled, and the cries of ghosts made people's hearts tremble. It was as if a terrifying ghost had crawled out of hell. The blood-red hand made people's scalp tingle as it grabbed towards Ling Xiao and the others. Blood Purgatory. This was a supreme divine ability cultivated by the Blood Hell Imperial Prince. One could imagine the anger and resentment in his heart. Kill. Ling Xiao and the Limitless Saint looked at each other and rushed towards the Blood Prison Emperor at the same time. They both felt the power of the Blood Prison Emperor. In the face of the deep hatred between the human race and the devil race, they chose to put aside their personal grievances and join forces to fight. Rumble. The Everlasting Saint slapped out with his palm. Chaotic light gushed out, and a mysterious scene of the creation of heaven and earth appeared. The palm print was extremely fierce, containing the power to annihilate everything. Crack. Ling Xiao used the Divine Punishment secret skill and punched out like a dragon. Bolts of lightning raged in the void like dragons, containing the terrifying power of the Divine Punishment, falling towards the Blood Hell Emperor. The space trembled as the chaotic palm print enveloped the sky. Immediately, the blood-colored divine chains of order were all shattered. Coupled with the raging lightning of heavenly punishment, the blood-colored ghosts in the surroundings were all wiped out. Ling Xiao and the Wuji Saint teamed up and unleashed earth-shattering battle prowess. Bang! Ling Xiao punched out. The fist of the Heavenly Emperor broke through the chaos, and the phantoms of the 3,000 macro worlds appeared in the void. It directly broke through the layers of bloody light and blasted toward the Blood Prison Emperor's face. You're courting death. The Blood Prison Emperor was shocked and angry. He did not expect the battle prowess of Ling Xiao and the Wuji Saint to be so terrifying. The monstrous momentum suppressed him, making him feel a lot of pressure. But he did not flinch at all. As the son of the Blood Prison Emperor, he also had his own pride. The stronger Ling Xiao and the Wuji Saint were, the more it could arouse the bloodthirsty killing intent in his heart. Rumble. A blood-red demonic light exploded in his palm and turned into a blood-red giant lion in an instant. It looked ferocious and lifelike as it pounced toward Ling Xiao. At the same time, he kicked out and collided with the Wuji Saint in the void. Bloody light burst out, and a terrifying wave swept in all directions. Both of them were sent flying back. The Blood Prison Emperor is so strong. The old goat and Taoist Wuliang also attacked with all their strength, breaking the blood-colored God Order chain that shot towards them, and then retreated to the edge of the battle, their eyes full of solemnity. They could see that the Blood Prison Emperor was very strong. If they joined the battle, they were afraid that they would distract Ling Xiao and the Wuji Saint, so they consciously retreated and sealed the surrounding void to prevent the Blood Prison Emperor from escaping. The son of the Demon Emperor is a peerless talent. Even in the heavens, he can be ranked at the top. Taoist Wuliang said slowly. Hee, so what if he is the son of the Demon Emperor? Didn't the original prince lose to Ling Xiao? Now that Ling Xiao and the Wuji Saint have joined forces, I think the Blood Prison Emperor will definitely die. Feng Qingyang sneered, full of confidence in Ling Xiao. He had witnessed the battle between Ling Xiao and the original prince. In the end, the original prince was defeated and fled. He was full of confidence in Ling Xiao. The original prince was defeated by Ling Xiao. What's the situation? Tell me. The old goat's eyes lit up immediately, and he quickly pulled Feng Qingyang and said. Rumble. In the void, a blood-red demonic light rose. Ling Xiao and the Wuji Saint joined forces and launched an earth-shattering battle with the Blood Hell Emperor's son. The terrifying shockwaves spread out, causing the surrounding mountains to explode and shatter. The sky trembled and the earth cracked. Everyone could only see 3 bright light clusters in the void, constantly colliding and bursting out a blazing divine light storm. Bloody Prison Blade River. The Blood Prison Emperor roared. The blazing saber light rose in his palm, and in an instant, a blood-red demon saber appeared. It contained a terrifying power fluctuation and slashed toward Ling Xiao and the Wuji Saint. At the same time, the surrounding void rumbled, and dense saber chi appeared. It was incomparably sharp, as if it could cut everything into pieces. Chaotic saber light. The Wuji Saint's eyes flashed with killing intent. There was a mysterious chaotic saber light rising from his glabella. In an instant, it met the attack and collided with the bloody prison blade river. Crack! Blazing sparks burst out, and the saber light trembled. The blood-red light and the chaotic chi intertwined and were annihilated at the same time. The Blood Prison Emperor's figure was extremely strange. In an instant, it turned into thousands of figures in the void, and each of them seemed real. The blood-red saber light all over the sky converged into a vast river. The blood-red river ran through the past and the future, endlessly burying the gods and demons in the heavens. It made people tremble all over at a glance. Kill! Ling Xiao roared, and there was a dazzling golden glow around him. He struck in the air, and his fist was like a dragon. The dazzling fist print was like a golden dragon, crossing the sky in an instant. Chapter 22:20. Rumble. The silhouettes of the Blood Hell Emperor's children were annihilated by Ling Xiao's fist. The golden dragon rolled in the long river of blood, constantly smashing the surrounding blade light into powder. Vaguely, the void was completely shattered. The blood-red river spread out in the endless turbulence of the void, burying all the life in it. Split. The Wuji Saint rose into the air, stepping on the void. Chaotic light surged around his body, and there seemed to be a mysterious scene between his arms. In an instant, a blazing chaotic light separated the heavens and the earth, and slashed towards the Blood Prison Emperor. The bloody Hell Saber River was actually cut in half by the chaotic light. The endless saber light exploded with a loud bang. Boom! The Blood Prison Emperor's figure was sent flying out of the void. At the same time, a golden fist mark lingered around the 3,000 worlds, like an ancient heavenly emperor fighting a chaotic fiend god. It came from the 9th heaven, containing a domineering and mysterious power fluctuation. You're courting death. The Blood Prison Emperor's face showed a look of shock and anger. He slapped his palm across the sky, and a series of blood-red runes gathered in front of him, forming an ancient blood-red shield in an instant. On the shield, there was a mysterious figure sitting cross-legged, containing a fierce and monstrous aura fluctuation. Clang! Ling Xiao's heavenly emperor's fist fell, and the blood-red shield trembled violently. Runes burst from above, and then Ling Xiao's fist penetrated the shield in an instant. The terrifying fist mark did not diminish, and directly blasted on the Blood Prison Emperor's chest. Ling Xiao's eyes were full of cold killing intent. His fist gathered his unparalleled divine power, and even broke out the supreme power of the ancestral dragon secret technique. He was confident that in the face of this fist, even if the Blood Prison Emperor did not die, he would be seriously injured. Buzz! A crisp sound rang out, and a crystal-clear blood-red boundary appeared around the Blood Prison Emperor's body. Ling Xiao's heavenly emperor's fist was unparalleled, but it only made the blood-red boundary tremble slightly, and there was no way to break through the defense of the blood-red boundary. Even a saint can't break my infinite blood realm. How can you fight me? Die! The Blood Prison Emperor's son's eyes were filled with cold killing intent. He sneered and pointed his finger at Ling Xiao's glabella. Whoosh! The Blood Prison Emperor's finger was crystal clear, like a piece of blood-red jade, but it was incomparably sharp and contained a power fluctuation that could penetrate everything. Clang! Ling Xiao's palm collided with the finger of the Blood Prison Emperor. The sound of metal colliding rang out, sparks flew in all directions, and a circle of ripples broke out in the void. Ling Xiao and the Blood Prison Emperor were both pushed back at the same time. At the same time, the Everlasting Saint also appeared behind the Blood Prison Emperor and punched towards his heart. The chaotic fist print was extremely powerful, but it was blocked by a blood-red barrier. Infinite world of blood? Ling Xiao's eyes trembled. He could feel that the blood-red barrier around the Blood Prison Emperor had countless tiny runes intertwined. It was as if there was a mysterious world surrounding the Blood Prison Emperor. It looked perfect. Every blood-colored particle could split into a world. It was as if countless worlds were being born and destroyed. As a result, Ling Xiao and the Wuji Saint's attacks were instantly split into countless particles upon contact with the blood-colored boundary and absorbed by those tiny worlds. Unless Ling Xiao and the Everlasting Saint had a power that was 10 times or 100 times stronger than the Blood Prison Emperor, there was no way they could break the infinite world of blood. It could be said that the Blood Prison Emperor was naturally in an invincible position. Infinite world of blood? Then I'll break your tortoise shell. The Everlasting Saint's eyes were sharp. Chaotic light rose from his palm, and in an instant, a mysterious ancient saber appeared. It was intertwined with chaotic qi, causing the void to tremble slightly. Most importantly, Ling Xiao could feel a powerful emperor's aura emerging from it. Is this an emperor's weapon? No, it's not a complete emperor's weapon. It's a little broken. Ling Xiao's heart trembled. The ancient saber in the Everlasting Saint's hand made him feel a strong sense of danger. However, upon closer inspection, it was not a complete ancient saber. The tip of the saber was broken. It was just a broken saber. A broken emperor's weapon. Even so, the terrifying emperor's aura caused everyone's expression to change. A broken emperor's weapon. The Blood Prison Emperor's expression changed slightly. There was a hint of fear in his eyes, but it disappeared in a flash. Instead, there was a touch of greed in his eyes. An emperor's weapon was a supreme treasure of a great emperor. It contained the power to destroy heaven and earth. Even though he was the son of the Blood Prison Emperor, he did not have an emperor's weapon. A broken emperor's weapon was enough to drive countless people crazy. Rumble. The broken saber in the Everlasting Saint's hand was held horizontally. Chaotic light gushed out. In an instant, a blazing saber light soared in the void. It turned into a long saber light and slashed down towards the Blood Prison Emperor. The Emperor's aura gushed out from it. The great Tao precepts in the surroundings seemed to be shattered in an instant. This was a peerless saber. As soon as it was used, it erupted with the power to destroy heaven and earth. The Blood Prison Emperor did not dare to be careless. Even though he was extremely attentive to the infinite world of blood, he did not dare to let the Everlasting Saint's broken saber hit him directly. Swoosh! He leaped up like a blood-red lightning. His speed was extremely fast. He wanted to avoid the Everlasting Saint's saber. Rumble! At the same time, Ling Xiao also struck. In his palm, the flipping sky seal soared into the sky and expanded in the void. It was like a black mountain peak, containing heavy and ancient power. The Thunder Spirit King sat cross-legged in the flipping sky seal. Blazing lightning rose around him. He displayed the secret skill of Heaven's Punishment. An eye of Heaven's Punishment seemed to appear above the flipping sky seal. It rumbled and shrouded the Blood Prison Emperor. Ling Xiao's attack was just in time. Just as the Blood Hell Emperor was about to rise into the air to avoid the saber of the Wuji Saint, the flipping sky seal sealed the space around the Blood Hell Emperor and suppressed him, making it impossible for him to escape. Bastard, you're courting death. The Blood Prison Emperor's eyes were filled with killing intent. He seemed to have gone completely berserk. A blood-red scythe appeared in his palm and slashed towards the flipping sky seal. Rumble. The flipping sky seal pressed down and collided with the blood-red scythe. In an instant, blazing divine light fluctuations burst out. Thunderbolts gushed out and shrouded the Blood Prison Emperor. Chapter 22-21. Sizzle. The blood prison emperor's body seemed to be corroded by some kind of force. The blood light around him was broken by the thunderbolt, and even the infinite blood realm began to tremble violently. Is this the heaven's punishment secret skill? The blood prison emperor seemed to think of something, and his face became extremely ugly. He did not pay attention to it before, but after the heaven's punishment thunder completely surrounded him, and the terrifying thunderbolt broke through the layers of blood light, he suddenly remembered that this was the legendary heaven's punishment secret skill, which was best used to restrain experts of the Devil Clan and other dark energy. Boom! At the same time, the everlasting saint's blade also landed on the blood prison emperor's body. Blood light exploded around him, and the infinite world of blood trembled violently. The blood-red runes in it were dazzling, and the tiny world shattered at the same time. The infinite world of blood seemed to have reached its limit and became somewhat unstable. Go away. The blood prison emperor's son was shocked and angry. The blood in his body seemed to be burning. A destructive force broke out. A blood-red flame gushed out from his body and swept in all directions. The flipping sky seal and the broken saber trembled slightly and were blocked by the blood-red flame. The blood prison emperor took the opportunity to retreat. Is this your so-called infinite blood realm? It's just so. Blood prison emperor, go to hell. The everlasting saint sneered. Your turtle shell is about to break, isn't it? Blood prison emperor's son, surrender. Don't be stubborn. Translator. Transin editor, Transin Ling Xiao said indifferently. The flipping sky seal floated above his head, emitting a terrifying aura and locking the blood hell emperor's son. The blood prison emperor's face was extremely ugly. He did not expect Ling Xiao and the everlasting saint to be so powerful. Moreover, they had so many trump cards, which were beyond his control. The result of this battle had become unpredictable. As if he had made up his mind, the blood prison emperor's eyes revealed a trace of madness and said, "You forced me to do this." Boom! The blood prison emperor's body swelled in an instant, and then an endless blood-red light rushed into the sky, as if the blood in his body had been drained. A terrifying aura erupted from his body. A mysterious blood-red figure appeared above the blood prison emperor's head, surrounded by endless blood-red light. The blood-red divine chains of order intertwined, and the runes rose, as if a world had emerged. The blood-red figure, like an invincible great emperor, stood above the ninth heaven, exuding an aura that made everyone tremble. Blood Devil Emperor, kill them for me. The blood prison emperor's face was extremely pale. His body was shriveled up as if all his strength had been sucked out. He suddenly pointed at Ling Xiao and the Wuji saint, his eyes full of hatred and murderous intent. Demon Emperor. Ling Xiao and the saint's expressions changed. Although they didn't know who the Blood Demon Emperor was, the two words, Emperor, were like a clap of thunder that exploded in the void, causing their expressions to become extremely solemn. The Emperor was a supreme expert, surpassing the Saint realm. He was half a step into the Emperor realm, also known as a quasi-emperor. He was only half a step away from becoming a supreme great emperor. The strength of such a peerless figure was extremely terrifying. Even a saint or a great saint was just like an ant in front of an emperor. Ling Xiao and the Limitless Saint were shocked to hear the Blood Hell Imperial Prince say that the figure in the void was the Blood Devil Emperor. Boom! The figure of the Blood Demon Emperor looked very blurry, and his eyes were closed, but Ling Xiao and the saint could feel a powerful aura coming from him. That figure slammed his palm towards Ling Xiao and the Wuji saint. The blood-red palm print enveloped this part of the sky and locked onto Ling Xiao and the Wuji saint, leaving them with no room to dodge. Kill! The Wuji saint bellowed. Chaotic light rose around him as he unleashed the secret technique of primal chaos. The broken blade in his hand bloomed with blazing blade light. The Emperor's aura in it completely erupted as it slashed towards the figure in the air. Ling Xiao also displayed the flipping sky seal, which turned into an immemorial sacred mountain and went to meet the attack. Both Ling Xiao and the saint knew how terrifying the Blood Demon Emperor was. Whether he was a real emperor or not, his aura was enough to make them ready for battle. They all unleashed their strongest powers in an attempt to block this ultimate attack. Boom! The blood-red palm print was simple and mysterious, intertwined with mysterious runes. With a sudden clench, it shattered the saber light that filled the sky. It slammed onto the broken saber, causing the broken saber to buzz. Then, the broken saber was sent flying together with the Everlasting Saint. The Everlasting Saint's body shook violently, and he suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. His aura became weak. The flipping sky seal collided with the palm print and began to rumble violently. The Emperor's aura that erupted from the flipping sky seal was annihilated in an instant. Ling Xiao was slapped down from the sky by the palm print. Boom! The earth trembled violently, and an incomparably huge palm print appeared. Ling Xiao and the flipping sky seal were both slammed into the earth. Even though Ling Xiao's body was extremely strong, it seemed like it was going to fall apart at this moment. His bones were broken, and his face became extremely pale. The power of a single palm was too terrifying. Hiss! It's too terrifying. Will Ling Xiao be slapped to death by the Blood Demon Emperor? The old goat trembled all over, and his eyes were full of disbelief. The Blood Demon Emperor. Could it be that the Blood Prison Emperor's son has inherited the Blood Demon Emperor's legacy? Daoist Wu Yang's expression turned solemn. You two are still in the mood to chat. Why don't you attack together? Otherwise, Ling Xiao will be beaten to death. Feng Qingyang glared at the old goat and Daoist Wu Yang. Blazing flames rose from his body, and he took the lead to soar into the sky and attack the Blood Demon Emperor. Save Ling Xiao. The old goat also reacted. A disc array flew up from his palm, and in an instant, it flew towards the Blood Demon Emperor. Divine chains of order intertwined in the void, and a dense array of restrictions appeared in the void, trying to trap the Blood Demon Emperor. Swoosh! 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 Daoist Wu Yang flicked his finger, and in an instant, immortal swords shot out from his back. The sword light was blazing and sharp, and in an instant, it turned into tens of thousands of sword lights, enveloping the Blood Demon Emperor. What bullshit, Blood Demon Emperor? Go to hell. Even the Yuanqin Saint gritted his teeth, and his eyes were filled with cold killing intent. With a wave of his hand, 5 flags soared into the sky, exuding powerful fluctuations of the 5 elements. They fluttered in the wind, and like 5 divine dragons, they charged towards the Blood Demon Emperor. Everyone could feel the power of the Blood Demon Emperor, and they all attacked at the same time. Chapter 22-22. Rumble. Lightning blazed in the void as divine light wreaked havoc. Terrifying power swept in all directions, causing the sky to shake violently. Huge cracks appeared as if it would completely shatter at any time. The old goat, Daoist Wu Yang, Feng Qingyang, and the Yuanqin Saint all attacked at the same time. They felt the great threat from the Blood Demon Emperor and knew that they had to work together. Otherwise, they would all die here. Only Jean Sei was still standing on the spot, trembling slightly. There was a trace of confusion in her eyes as if she was having some kind of internal struggle. Ha ha ha. How dare you, a bunch of ants, fight against the great Blood Demon Emperor? You'll all die. You'll all turn into nourishment for the Blood Demon Emperor and never be reincarnated. The Blood Prison Emperor roared, his eyes filled with hatred and murderous intent. Although the Blood Demon Emperor was extremely powerful, in order to summon the Blood Demon Emperor's avatar, his flesh and blood had been devoured, and even his lifespan had been reduced by more than half. Most importantly, after the Blood Demon Emperor was released, if he wanted to completely subdue the Blood Demon Emperor and obtain the Blood Demon Emperor's inheritance, he would have to pay 10 or 100 times the price. And all of this was caused by Ling Xiao, the Everlasting Saint, and the others. One could imagine the hatred in his heart. Rumble. The Blood Demon Emperor's terrifying aura rose. Facing the old goat and the others, the bloody light around the Blood Demon Emperor swept out like a huge wave. Like a volcanic eruption, it instantly annihilated the attacks of the old goat and the others, and then swept them away. The old goat and the others looked as if they were struck by lightning. Their faces were extremely pale as they were directly sent flying. The joint attack of several skyprides was so pale and powerless in front of the Blood Demon Emperor. Is this, the Blood Demon Emperor's avatar imprint? Ling Xiao's heart trembled, and his eyes were filled with an extremely solemn expression. The Blood Demon Emperor in front of them was not a true emperor expert. Otherwise, all of them would have been instantly turned into dust with no chance of resisting. But even if it was just an emperor's avatar imprint, it was already powerful enough to make Ling Xiao and the Everlasting Saint feel helpless. Crack! The Blood Demon Emperor took a step towards the Everlasting Saint. His huge footprint was like a supreme divine mountain, containing the power to suppress everything. Moreover, the surrounding bloody light surged, and the great path laws between heaven and earth were shattered. The power of the Blood Way origin completely locked the Everlasting Saint in place, making it impossible for him to dodge. Kill! The Wuji Saint gritted his teeth and suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. The blood had a chaotic color and contained a mysterious and ancient power. It instantly merged with the broken saber in his palm. Wang! The broken blade trembled slightly. Then, it soared into the sky in an instant. It seemed as if it had been completely revived. The runes were dazzling, and a ferocious aura emerged from the broken blade. The broken saber became extremely sharp, as though it could slash through the heavens and earth. In an instant, it slashed down at the Blood Demon Emperor's footprints. Crack! The void trembled violently as the Blood Demon Emperor's footprint shattered. It was as though the Blood Demon Emperor had been cleaved into two by the broken saber. Blood rained down from the sky, filling the air with a thick stench of blood. Is the Blood Demon Emperor dead? The eyes of the old goat and the others lit up. Their eyes were filled with hope. The Blood Demon Emperor was too terrifying. He had the power to destroy the heavens and earth. Everyone felt a strong sense of helplessness in their hearts. They all hoped that Ling Xiao and the Everlasting Saint could kill the Blood Demon Emperor. The Everlasting Saint had the chaotic sacred body and the chaotic secret technique. At the same time, he also had an incomplete extreme path emperor weapon. His true combat strength was enough to kill a saint. This devastating slash had actually cleaved the Blood Demon Emperor into two halves. Ignorant. The Blood Prison Emperor's eyes were full of ridicule, as though he was not surprised at all. Wang! At this moment, the Blood Demon Emperor, who had been cleaved into two halves, trembled slightly. His body instantly merged back into one. A terrifying power erupted from his body, and his eyes opened in an instant. Whoosh! Like two blood-red lightning bolts piercing through the sky, the Blood Demon Emperor's eyes were cold, mysterious, and vicissitudes. He was like a high and mighty celestial emperor, looking down on all living beings as ants. It was a kind of coldness that went deep into his bones. He slapped out across the sky, smashing the blazing saber light that erupted from the broken saber into dust. Then, his palm continued to press down on the Everlasting Saint. The blood light surged and turned into an endless sea, enveloping the surrounding heavens and earth. The Blood Demon Emperor unleashed his most powerful blood Dao mystique. Streaks of bloody light wreaked havoc, turning into all sorts of mysterious scenes. They extended towards Ling Xiao, the Wuji Saint, and the others as though they wanted to devour all of their vitality. What? The Everlasting Saint's face changed drastically. He did not expect that even so, he could not kill the Blood Demon Emperor. Instead, the Blood Demon Emperor had unleashed a stronger combat strength. He felt his scalp tingle. Without thinking, he recalled the broken saber and blocked in front of him. At the same time, he unleashed the chaotic secret technique. He pushed out his arms, and a vast chaotic world emerged. Crack! The Blood Demon Emperor's palm print was incomparably red, as if it was dyed red with blood. It contained a power that made one's heart tremble. It slammed onto the broken saber with a loud bang, slamming it into the chaotic world. The incomparably vast primal chaos world suddenly exploded, and then fiercely slapped the Everlasting Saint's body. Pfft! the everlasting saint's body trembled violently, and he suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. He had been severely injured by the blood demon emperor. Streaks of blood-red light surged into the Wuji saint's body, wanting to take the opportunity to devour his vitality. However, the blood demon emperor did not give him the slightest chance and continued to charge towards him, wanting to kill him completely. Long Out Yen, the blood demon emperor is too strong. I'm no match for him. You're on your own now. The everlasting saint shouted. The chaotic light around him rose, and his entire body exploded, turning into countless figures that flew in all directions. No one could see which one was his real body. Boom! The blood demon emperor's palm landed, and the blood light that filled the sky exploded. Most of the figures in the void instantly turned into nothingness, but there was still a blazing sword light that broke through the blood sea in an instant, sweeping up a few figures and disappearing into the void. The everlasting saint had actually escaped at this time. Damn it! None of you can escape. Blood demon emperor, kill them all. Chapter 22-23. Oh no! Ling Zhao's heart sank. When he saw that the blood demon emperor had been cut in half by the everlasting saint's broken sword but had recovered in an instant, he felt that something was wrong. What he did not expect was that the everlasting saint had chosen to escape. Boom! At this moment, Ling Zhao had unknowingly approached the edge of the blood sea. He instantly activated the flipping sky seal, which expanded in the air. The Heaven's Punishment secret skill exploded with blazing lightning, which then blasted directly into the blood sea. The void exploded with a loud bang, and the sky was filled with bloody light. Chaotic turbulence surged, and a huge void passage appeared in the void. Old Goat, Taoist Wuliang, Feng Qingyang, you three take Jin Sei and leave first. Ling Zhao quickly shouted and then rushed towards the blood demon emperor. Roar! A dragon's roar shook the heavens, and a golden glow shone dazzlingly. The 5 elements divine light flowed around him, and at the same time, yin and yang qi rose. In the vast chaotic void behind him, the images of the ancestral dragon, the true phoenix, the black tortoise, the white tiger, and the qilin appeared, causing Ling Zhao's body to explode with terrifying energy. His eyes shone with a sharp light as he threw a punch at the blood demon emperor. You want to leave? None of you can leave. The blood hell emperor's son was enraged. Blood light surged around him, and in an instant, blood-red tentacles shot out from the sea of blood and wrapped around the old goat, Taoist Wuliang, and the others. At the same time, the blood sea surged and was about to drown the huge void passage. Swoosh! The Yuanqin saint was quick to react. When he saw Ling Zhao blast open the void passage, he instantly turned into a stream of light and shot into the void passage to escape. The blood demon emperor's terrifying power had made the everlasting saint escape. He did not have any confidence in Ling Zhao. If he continued to stay here, he was afraid that he would die here. I'm not leaving. I can't let you fight alone. Today, we brothers are united. If we live or die, we die together. The old goat roared. His voice was a little hoarse and his eyes were filled with determination. I'm not leaving either. Taoist Wuliang said faintly, but his voice was extremely determined. Me too. Feng Qingyang said with reddened eyes. Now is not the time for you to express your determination. If you want to live, then kill the blood hell emperor's son first. Jin Sei's cold voice sounded in their ears. Whoosh! The next moment, Jin Sei soared into the sky, and the Taishang sword in her hand bloomed with brilliant sword light. She slashed down toward the blood hell emperor. Her expression was indifferent and calm, as if nothing could move her, but her attack was incomparably fierce. She instantly saw that the key to this battle was the blood hell emperor's son. The blood hell emperor's son was the foundation of the blood demon emperor's existence. As long as the blood hell emperor's son was killed, the blood demon emperor's avatar would disappear completely. Kill! After Old Goat and the other two heard Jin Sei's words, their eyes lit up. They roared at the same time and followed Jin Se to attack the Blood Prison Emperor. Rumble. Ling Xiao's terrifying punch exploded in the void. The power of the five elements and yin and yang intertwined, like a seven-colored dragon rising into the sky, opening its mouth and swallowing the Blood Demon Emperor. The Blood Demon Emperor's expression was indifferent. In the face of Ling Xiao's punch, he also blasted out a simple punch. The blood-colored demonic light surged, and circles of ripples spread out, colliding with Ling Xiao's punch. The void suddenly exploded, and divine light surged all over the sky. The seven-colored divine dragon was actually blown to pieces by the strange sound wave. Ling Xiao's body shook violently, as if he had hit an indestructible mountain. His arm was numb, and he lost all feeling. He was sent flying. The Blood Demon Emperor also noticed that Jin Se, Old Goat and the others were rushing toward the Blood Hell Emperor's son. He directly slashed down with his palm, and the blazing blood light was like a vast waterfall, separating heaven and earth. Jin Se and the others seemed to have fallen into endless mud, entangled by the blood light, and had no way to escape. Rumble. The Blood Demon Emperor slapped down with a blood-colored palm print. It was extremely terrifying, and he wanted to smash Jin Se and the others into powder. Oh no! Ling Xiao's expression changed dramatically, revealing an extremely anxious look. A glittering and translucent jade plate appeared in his palm, exuding nine-colored divine light, as if it could illuminate the sky. It was ancient and mysterious. With a light swipe of the jade plate, Ling Xiao's palm split open. Fresh blood gushed out from Ling Xiao's body and was devoured by the jade plate. Instantly, the jade plate soared into the sky like a bright moon. It was extremely resplendent as it shot towards the Blood Devil Emperor. The jade plate of good fortune had appeared. Ling Xiao felt that the Blood Demon Emperor was powerful and invincible. He immediately took out the jade plate of good fortune, devouring more than half of the blood in his body. The supreme divine power of this ultimate treasure of chaos burst out and suppressed the Blood Demon Emperor. This is a fragment of the jade plate of good fortune. You have such a big jade plate of good fortune. When the Blood Prison Emperor saw the jade plate of good fortune in Ling Xiao's palm, his body trembled, and his eyes revealed an extremely greedy look. The Good Fortune Jade Disc was a legendary treasure of chaos. The Good Fortune Jade Disc had been broken in ancient times and its fragments were scattered all over the sky. The Blood Prison Emperor didn't expect Ling Xiao to have such a large fragment. He knew some secrets of the Jade Plate of Good Fortune. If he could get the Jade Plate of Good Fortune in Ling Xiao's hand, his chances of becoming the chosen one would greatly increase. He must get the fragment of the Jade Plate of Good Fortune. The Blood Prison Emperor immediately made up his mind. Rumble. Terrifying fluctuations erupted from the Blood Demon Emperor's body, and a vast Emperor's aura was awakened. His palm print stopped in the void, and then turned into a fist. A blood-colored fist print blasted toward the Jade Plate of Good Fortune. The void trembled, and the Jade Plate of Good Fortune was extremely bright. It looked dazzling and incomparably holy. Wherever it went, the laws of heaven and earth were rapidly shattered, and everything seemed to be annihilated. The Blood Demon Emperor trembled all over, and one of his arms exploded into powder in an instant. It was completely obliterated, and it was impossible to regenerate it. The Blood Demon Emperor seemed to feel greatly provoked, and his eyes revealed monstrous blood-colored killing intent. Thunder rumbled, and streaks of blood-colored lightning surged. He suddenly grabbed the Jade Plate of Good Fortune with his other hand, and the blood-colored light in his body rushed madly into the Jade Plate of Good Fortune, wanting to pollute it with the power of the Blood Way. Puff. Chapter 22-24. Crack. Suddenly, a bright light bloomed. Sword intent rose in the void. It was sharp and sharp as if it could destroy everything. Sword chi rose around Jin Se, instantly cutting off all the blood tentacles around her. Then, she was sent flying. Jin Se's red dress fluttered in the wind. Her white hair was as white as frost. Her face was extremely beautiful, but she was indifferent and cold. Her entire body emitted a peerless aura. Light blossomed from the center of Jean Say's brows. A misty world could be seen there, and a mysterious figure could be seen sitting cross-legged there. She looked like a woman, and sword wills intertwined around her. Beams of sword light soared into the sky, containing scenes of the birth and destruction of worlds. It was as though each beam of sword chi contained a world of its own. The power around Jean Say skyrocketed. Soon, it surpassed the limit of the third level of heaven treading. The holy aura around her spread. She had advanced to the true saint realm, and it was still rising. She held the Taishang sword in her hand. Her eyes were sharp as if she had become a different person. Her sword intent was vast and mighty as it charged towards Blood Demon Emperor. Boom! Both Jean Say and Blood Demon Emperor's auras were extremely terrifying. An intense battle broke out in the void. Sword chi raged with unparalleled sharpness. Sword light shattered the sky. Endless chaotic turbulence surged. The blood light exploded one after another, making this battle extremely exciting. The figure between Jean Say's glabella became clearer and clearer. One could vaguely see that it was a peerless woman. It was as if she was about to wake up from a deep sleep. Crack! Jean Say soared into the air and slashed down at the Blood Demon Emperor Lord. The sword chi was endless, as though it contained countless mysterious worlds. Instantly, the Blood Demon Emperor Lord was drowned. This sword was vast, terrifying, ancient, and mysterious. It was as if it was the supreme sword Tao of an ancient emperor. It could even completely cut everything in the world in half. The Blood Fiend Emperor Lord was instantly cleaved into two halves by this sword. Rumble. Blood light surged violently in the void as boundless blood light gathered around the Blood Demon Emperor, as though he was about to materialize once more. But at this moment, sword chi intertwined in the surroundings. Every single sword light was incomparably sharp, causing the blood light in the sky to explode. Ling Xiao, attack! Jean Say shouted at Ling Xiao. A sharp glint flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes as he instantly soared through the sky at an extremely fast speed. Taking advantage of the fact that the Blood Demon Emperor's body had yet to reform after being shattered by the sword chi, Ling Xiao instantly executed the heaven-devouring secret skill. Boom! The sky-devouring divine sea around Ling Xiao exploded. At the same time, the wordless heavenly book between his eyebrows shone brightly, releasing a dazzling radiance, making the power of the sky-devouring secret skill even more terrifying. The bloody light that filled the sky was instantly swallowed up by the soaring heavens. All of it was integrated into the wordless heavenly book and was suppressed by it. The imprint of the Blood Demon Emperor's primordial spirit was completely destroyed. Puff! The Blood Hell Emperor was enraged. Coupled with the fact that the Blood Demon Emperor had been killed, he had suffered quite a bit of backlash. He spat out a mouthful of blood, and his aura had become weak. Long out Yen, I will remember you. One day, I will kill you. The Blood Hell Emperor roared. In an instant, a bloody light rose from his body as he was about to break through the void and escape. He was extremely decisive. After knowing that the Blood Demon Emperor had been killed, he would be in danger if he continued to stay. No matter how shocked and unwilling he was, he had to leave first. Blood Hell Emperor, do you think you can escape? Ling Xiao sneered. Killing intent flickered in his eyes. In an instant, the jade disc of fortune in his hand glowed and swallowed up most of the blood in his body. His face paled and he almost lost his footing. He was about to fall from the sky. Fortunately, the old goat was quick enough to catch him. The jade disc of good fortune shone brilliantly, and the nine-colored divine light drove the origin of the great path of the heavens. Its speed was so fast that it tore the void apart and slashed down from above the Blood Hell Emperor's head. Ah! Father, save me! The Blood Prison Emperor's son's eyes were full of despair as he shouted. Buzz! At this moment, above the Blood Hell Emperor's head, there seemed to be a void that was about to be penetrated by some kind of force, and an incomparably mysterious bloody figure emerged in the void. Kacha! The light of the jade plate of fortune bloomed and shattered the void in an instant. Even the scarlet figure was pierced through by the jade plate of fortune before it was completely devoured. It was just a mark left on the Blood Hell Emperor's body, but unfortunately, it was too far away, and the power of the good fortune jade disc was so strong that it directly obliterated it. Is that the divine thought of the Blood Hell Emperor? Ling Xiao's body trembled, and his expression became extremely solemn. Puff! Without the mark of the Blood Hell Emperor, the Blood Hell Emperor had no way to resist the sharpness of the good fortune jade disc and was instantly cut in half. 5 colored blood beads emerged from Blood Hell Emperor's son's body. They looked like small suns, and they contained a strong vitality. Devour! Ling Xiao made up his mind, and a powerful devouring force erupted from his body. The heaven-devouring secret technique completely broke out. The flesh and blood of the Blood Hell Emperor's body, along with the mysterious 5-colored blood beads, were all devoured by Ling Xiao. Since he had killed the Blood Hell Emperor, he was destined to offend the Blood Hell Emperor. Although offending a great emperor of the demon race sounded shocking, Ling Xiao wasn't afraid at all. Even great emperors couldn't interfere with this grand event in the chaotic ancient land, and they didn't even know what was going on. Whoosh! Jean Sei also fell from the 9th heaven, and the powerful aura on her body disappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye. She seemed to have suffered a great loss of vitality, her face became extremely pale, and her body trembled slightly. Jean Sei, are you okay? Ling Xiao struggled to stand up, regardless of the serious injuries he suffered, and looked at Jean Sei with great concern. I'm fine. You killed the Blood Hell Emperor's son. This time, I'm afraid the demon realm has already regarded you as a mortal enemy. Jean Sei shook her head calmly, and a strange look flashed in her eyes. Yes. Ling Xiao, besides us, the Wuji Saint's son and Yuanqin Saint's son also know that you killed the Blood Hell Emperor's son. I think it's necessary to eliminate them completely. The old goat said slowly, and a trace of killing intent appeared in his eyes. Offending a great emperor was no small matter. If it was someone else, they would have been scared out of their wits. However, since things had already come to this, the old goat and Taoist Wu Yang were thinking of ways to help Ling Xiao. They wanted to eliminate the impact of this matter as much as possible. Chapter 22-25. Ling Xiao shook his head and said, with the Blood Hell Emperor's strength, it's basically impossible for us to hide the fact that we killed the Blood Hell Emperor's son. Moreover, the Wuji Saint and Yuanqin Saint have fought side by side with us. As long as they don't provoke me, I won't find trouble with them. Then aren't you afraid of the Blood Hell Emperor's revenge? He's a supreme great emperor. Feng Qingyang said anxiously. After all, great emperors were peerless and invincible. They were the strongest in the universe and could bury an era, making a race prosper or decline. Currently, in the myriad of worlds, any powerful race that occupied a world would definitely have a great emperor-level expert behind them. So what if it's the Blood Hell Emperor? If I become the Heavenly Emperor in the future, I'll kill the demon race. Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. His eyes were sharp without the slightest trace of fear. His whole body exuded a strong fighting spirit. Kill the demon race? You really dare to say that? Even when the 9 emperors of the human race appeared in the most dazzling era, they only made the demon race retreat. They didn't dare to say that they would kill the demon race. You're too arrogant, but I like it. The old goat rolled his eyes and said with a smile. The demon race was very ancient, even older than the human race. For countless eras, the demon race had been the ruler of many eras and had an incomparably deep foundation. Although there were only 3 demon emperors in the demon world, no one knew what kind of power the demon race was hiding. No one dared to underestimate the demon race. It was like how the human race called them the demon race, but the demon race called themselves the sacred race. Defying was the demon race, and following was the sacred race. The demon race had always thought that they were a race blessed by the heavens and should dominate the universe. At the beginning of the human race epoch, the 9 emperors of the human race appeared out of nowhere and led the human race to conquer the myriad of worlds. Their brilliance was so great that the myriad of worlds had to retreat. Even the demon race had to temporarily avoid the human race. However, among the 9 emperors of the human race, there were still a few great emperors who died in the war against the demon race. This made the human race thoroughly understand the demon race's foundation. Now, Ling Xiao said that he wanted to become an emperor and kill the demon race. Although the old goat was full of confidence in Ling Xiao's ability, it was almost impossible to kill the demon race. However, it liked and admired this kind of Ling Xiao. He never admitted defeat and had strong self-confidence. Moreover, he had created one miracle after another. Boom! At this moment, the wordless heavenly book in Ling Xiao's body had finished devouring the blood demon emperor and the emperor's son. In an instant, a dazzling 9-colored divine glow, and a vast and pure blood energy surging from the wordless heavenly book and the emperor's body. Protect me! Ling Xiao's expression changed, and he immediately sat down cross-legged. Bang bang bang! Blazing divine light rose around him as streaks of blood-red light gushed out from his body. The runes were dazzling, and the blood-red light intertwined with each other as if forming a divine chain of order. It enveloped Ling Xiao's entire body, forming a blood cocoon. The blood cocoon was like a dazzling blood-red sun, containing a majestic aura of life. It looked exactly the same as the blood cocoon on the emperor's body when Ling Xiao first met him. Is this guy going to accept the inheritance of the blood demon emperor? The old goat said with surprise and joy. It's hard to say. Even if it's not the inheritance of the blood demon emperor, Ling Xiao must have gained a lot of benefits. After all, even if it's only 1/10,000th of the power of an emperor's avatar, it's still amazing. Taoist Wu Yang said slowly. They instantly spread out around Ling Xiao. Their eyes were filled with vigilance as they began to protect Ling Xiao. In the blood cocoon, Ling Xiao exuded an incomparably mysterious aura. The pure energy gushing out of the wordless heavenly book poured into his limbs and bones. It was the purest blood way origin, which began to refine his body and make it stronger. Ling Xiao's life essence also became more and more abundant, like a vast ocean. The blood-red runes around him began to imprint themselves on his body, causing every particle in his body to contain the most origin power. Bang bang! Ling Xiao's blood surged like a great river, boiling and exuding a dazzling golden glow. It was like a golden divine liquid, containing powerful energy fluctuations. However, as the vast origin energy of the bloodways poured in, Ling Xiao's blood fused with the origin energy of the bloodways. The rings of golden light slowly dispersed, and his blood actually became bright red again. However, the power within it became even more terrifying. Vaguely, Ling Xiao seemed to see countless memory fragments. In ancient times, the human race was still incomparably weak. The world was filled with countless innate fiend gods and powerful races. At that time, the human race was the food of the innate fiend gods, and their end was extremely miserable. Later, some human race ancestors were unwilling to accept their fate, and began to comprehend the world, forming the supreme path of martial arts. They stepped on the firmament, had the starry sky above their heads, and every movement contained the power to destroy the world. Although the human race was weak, their potential was endless. After cultivating martial arts, their strength improved by leaps and bounds, and they were gradually able to contend with wild beasts, fierce beasts, and even those powerful races. Ling Xiao saw the human race ancestors in ancient times. They were unwilling to accept the fate of the human race, and refused to accept the arrangement of the heavenly Tao. They contended with the world with their own strength, and gradually awakened the human race from weakness to prosperity. The endless fighting spirit, the unwillingness to admit defeat, the fearlessness of death, and the indomitable spirit were forever imprinted in the human race's bloodline. This was the most precious treasure that the human race ancestors left for their descendants. Now, after Ling Xiao devoured the blood demon emperor's blood Tao origin, his bloodline showed signs of atavism. Even the dragon race bloodline in his body was suppressed at this moment, and the human race bloodline had the upper hand. Ling Xiao saw that the ancestors of the human race in the ancient times had led the human race from savagery to civilization. They had gone from being weak to being strong. They had experienced countless battles. When someone fell, someone else would quickly stand up. A drop of human race blood could turn the earth into an ocean, crush the sky, burn the world, and kill all enemies in the world. Although the imprinted scene was very blurry, Ling Xiao felt his blood boil after seeing it. He couldn't control himself, and it was as if he wanted to return to ancient times and fight side by side with the human race ancestors. Roar! A clear dragon's roar rang out from Ling Xiao's body. It contained a trace of unwillingness and submission. Ling Xiao's dragon bloodline, which was originally extremely powerful, was completely at a disadvantage. It was suppressed by Ling Xiao's human bloodline. Rumble. The blood in Ling Xiao's body boiled, and the wisps of blood were incomparably heavy, like ancient mountains, giving his every move an unparalleled divine power. Ling Xiao slowly opened his eyes, and his gaze was deep and ancient, as if it contained the aura of endless time, allowing him to pass through the river of time and see the birth of the human race in ancient times. Chapter 22-26. Ever since Ling Xiao came to the God of War's world, his body was half human and half dragon because of his parents. In addition, he cultivated the secret skill of the ancestral dragon, so the dragon bloodline in his body had always had the upper hand. Ling Xiao almost thought that the human bloodline in his body had been devoured by the dragon bloodline. Ling Xiao did not have an unparalleled sacred body. His body was just an ordinary human body. Even if he cultivated the secret skill of the ancestral dragon and condensed the acquired divine dragon body, it was still much weaker than those supreme sacred bodies. But now, Ling Xiao understood that the human bloodline was the strongest. Boom! 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 His heart was beating. Every time it beat, it emitted a powerful wave of power, causing the surrounding sky to tremble violently. Powerful vitality spread in all directions, making his body stronger and stronger. Ling Xiao felt that he had reached some kind of bottleneck. He could break through the third limit at any time, condense the celestial master, and break through to the third heaven realm. He had just broken through the second limit not long ago. He originally thought that even with all kinds of treasures and opportunities, he would need a few years of accumulation before he could continue to break through. But he did not expect that after devouring the Blood Demon Emperor and the Blood Hell Emperor, he would accumulate enough power so quickly. At the same time, in his sea of consciousness, after the Blood Demon Emperor's clone imprint was refined, a part of the Blood Demon Emperor's memory turned into a torrent and integrated into his sea of consciousness. Ling Xiao saw the growth of the Blood Demon Emperor. It was like a vast epic. From being weak to being strong, from an ordinary demon youth, he finally grew into an unparalleled celestial master that shocked thousands of worlds. In the Blood Demon Emperor's memory, Ling Xiao also saw a figure. That was a figure that had attained the martial monarch realm before the Blood Demon Monarch. His strength was terrifying to the extreme, and his talent was even stronger than the Blood Demon Monarch. After attaining the martial monarch realm, he had severely injured the Blood Demon Monarch to the point where his soul was about to dissipate. It's the Blood Hell Emperor. I didn't expect that the Blood Demon Emperor and the Blood Hell Emperor were from the same era as the Blood Hell Emperor. A strange look appeared in Ling Xiao's eyes. In the memories of the Blood Demon Monarch, he saw that the Blood Demon Monarch and the Blood Prison Monarch both cultivated the supreme Tao of blood. They had even obtained the supreme inheritance of the ancient blood tribe. They were both peerless experts and were seen as the hope of the demon race. They both had the potential to become monarchs. However, the Blood Hell Monarch was extremely cunning. Not only did he snatch away the Blood Demon Monarch's opportunity, he even reached the monarch realm before the Blood Demon Monarch. Ling Xiao could feel the Blood Demon Emperor's unwillingness and anger. This was also the reason why Blood Hell Emperor had not been able to obtain the inheritance of Blood Demon Emperor for so long. Although Blood Demon Emperor was dead, his resentment had not dissipated. He naturally had a deep rejection of Blood Hell Emperor. This is the Vampire Heavenly Book. Ling Xiao's eyes lit up as he saw an extremely mysterious scripture in the Blood Demon Emperor's memories. Whoosh! The scripture was scarlet red like blood, and the runes were resplendent. It looked like a vast and mysterious world, blooming in Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness, containing endless mysteries. This was the true inheritance of the Blood Devil Emperor. Rumble. Ling Xiao sat cross-legged in the void, and a bloody light rose around him. In the vast and mysterious blood realm, there was a majestic aura of life, and even a trace of immortality. Ling Xiao sat cross-legged in the blood realm, looking at the passage of time and the changes of the universe, but he himself was eternal and indestructible. He had a feeling that he had jumped out of the heavenly way and was not in the five elements. One rune after another fused into Ling Xiao's Yuan spirit, causing it to emit a blood-red glow. A few resplendent stars could be vaguely seen in Ling Xiao's soul. They radiated with the mysterious presence of chaos, fate, karma, reincarnation, divine punishment, the five elements, yin and yang. They floated in the endless chaos. At this moment, as the vampire heavenly book merged into Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness, another bloody star emerged. Ling Xiao's primordial spirit aura was mysterious and ethereal, becoming more and more vast. He vaguely seemed to be able to see the depths of the chaotic ancient land, the vast sea of heavenly way, the scene of endless life and death, and the chaotic laws of time and space reincarnation. The vampire heavenly book made Ling Xiao fall into a deep state of enlightenment, forgetting time and space, forgetting everything. Ling Xiao's body slowly floated up, curled up like a baby in his mother's womb, with a faint smile on his lips and an ethereal aura. At this moment, the demon world began to boil over because of the death of the Blood Prison Emperor. On the surface, there were three supreme great emperors in the devil world. They were the Undying Devil Emperor, the Blood Prison Devil Emperor, and the Original Devil Emperor. They were the supreme rulers of the devil world. Even the 10 great sects of the devil world and the various powerful ancient races had to bow down in front of the three great devil emperors. The three demon emperors had not appeared for tens of millions of years, but no one had forgotten their existence. The descendants of the three demon emperors were also the supreme princes of the demon world, known as the hope of the demon world, and the peerless genius who was most likely to become a demon emperor in the future. This time, the devil world was full of confidence. They believed that without the 9 great emperors, the human race had completely declined. They dispatched the 3 great emperors to seize the position of the heaven's chosen child and create an era that belonged to the devil race. But on this day, in the Blood Prison Palace, the soul tablet of the Blood Prison Emperor was shattered. This meant that the Blood Prison Emperor was dead. The whole demon world began to boil over. Who on earth had the guts to kill the Blood Prison Emperor? The Blood Prison Palace cannot be humiliated. No matter who killed the Blood Prison Emperor, he must pay a debt of blood, and pay 1,000 times the price. In the Blood Prison Palace, 2 white-haired old men in blood-red robes said coldly. Killing intent rose around them, and there was a trace of unconcealable horror in their eyes. The 2 of them were surrounded by vast saint aura, and their aura was incomparably terrifying. There were mysterious scenes of the birth and death of the universe around them, indicating that their cultivation was very high. But at this moment, both of them were shocked and angry, having a feeling that a great disaster was about to befall them. Both of them were the left and right elders of the Blood Prison Palace, supreme experts of the Saint King level. But even Saint Kings were like ants in front of the supreme great emperors. Now, the Blood Prison Emperor had been killed. If the Blood Prison Emperor returned one day, the 2 of them would die without a burial place. Let's go. Let's go to the passage of the chaotic ancient land, find an opportunity to break open the chaotic ancient land, find the real murderer of the Blood Prison Emperor, and make him pay with his life. Chapter 22-27. The Blood Hell Emperor's son has been killed. In a place filled with demon chi, the original prince was sitting cross-legged on a mountain. His aura was terrifying and every breath he took caused the surrounding void to tremble. He suddenly opened his eyes, revealing a trace of bewilderment. Although the 3 princes did not have a good relationship, each of them had their own life cards. At this moment, the life card of the Blood Hell Emperor's life card in his palm had been completely shattered. This meant that the Blood Hell Emperor's son had been killed. The Blood Hell Emperor's son is stronger than me and has various means to defend himself. Could it be that the son of heaven of the human clan was able to kill him? The original prince's eyes revealed a hint of fear as he guessed in his heart. In his view, only the legendary son of heaven of the human clan had the strength to kill the Blood Hell Emperor's son. The Blood Hell guy is really tragic. I don't know what kind of monster he provoked. But in the end, the creation will appear. Once the chaos battlefield opens, it will be the time for the chosen one to appear. I can't be distracted now. When I finish cultivating the original sutra, it will be time for me to kill my way into the chaos battlefield. The original prince thought to himself. His eyes flickered and he slowly closed his eyes. His body was submerged in demon light as he re-entered the state of cultivation. In the layers of space, there was an immortal palace floating in the chaos, exuding a vast and ancient aura. In the palace, a young man in white slowly opened his eyes. His eyes were deep, mysterious and majestic, flowing with 9-colored divine light, causing the world to change color slightly. He exuded an aura of eternity and immortality, which merged with the chaos around him. Is the Blood Hell dead? Although the Blood Hell is a good-for-nothing, not everyone can kill him. When I come out of seclusion, I will avenge you. The young man in white said faintly. His voice was ethereal and mysterious, without a trace of emotion, as if it was the voice of the heavenly way, stating some kind of fact. In the ancient and dark space, a young man in a black robe with fluttering black hair came from the sky and appeared on the steep mountain peak. His figure was slender and heroic, filled with explosive power. His face was incomparably handsome, and there was a mysterious demonic light surging in his black eyes, incomparably deep. The corners of his mouth were slightly raised, adding a bit of a sinister aura. He was Darkness Ling Xiao. During this period of time, Darkness Ling Xiao had been wantonly hunting heaven-treading experts in the ancient land of chaos according to the Dark Demon Emperor's orders. Darkness Ling Xiao and obtained their Dao flowers. The Blood Hell Emperor's son was killed by the real body. Dark Ling Xiao thought in his heart. He was shocked that Ling Xiao had killed the Blood Prison Emperor's son. After all, the Blood Prison Emperor's son was infamous in the Devil world. However, he didn't pay too much attention to the Blood Prison Prince. Instead, he focused all of his attention on the Dark Demon Emperor. Though he'd slain over 100 third-level Ascension experts and obtained 100 Dao flowers as per the Dark Demon Emperor's orders, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was off with the Dark Demon Emperor. He was incomparably cautious, but for the sake of the Dark Demon Emperor's inheritance, he decided to take a little risk. Dark Ling Xiao's murderous aura rose. During this period of time, he had gone through hundreds of battles and accumulated an incomparably rich combat strength. Every expert of the third stage of heaven treading was a monstrous genius with endless trump cards. There were a few times when Dark Ling Xiao fell into a dangerous situation and almost died. But he'd pulled through and returned with 100 Dao flowers. Whoosh! Darkness Ling Xiao soared into the sky with extreme speed and soon arrived at the valley where the Dark Demon Emperor was. Master, I've returned. Darkness Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he pretended to be respectful as he spoke. Rumble. As soon as his voice fell, demonic light surged in all directions. An ancient and terrifying presence appeared in the valley and turned into an old man in hemp robes. It was the Dark Demon Emperor. Ha ha ha, my good disciple, you've brought back 100 Dao flowers, haven't you? Take them out and I'll pass on my lifetime's inheritance to you. The Dark Demon Emperor smiled faintly at Dark Ling Xiao, his eyes blazing with passion. Darkness Ling Xiao didn't immediately take out the Dao flowers. Instead, he asked curiously, Master, what do you want them for? I can feel the boundless laws of the great Dao hidden within them. They're completely useless to you, so why don't you let me refine them all? The Dark Demon Emperor's expression froze. Cough cough, my good disciple, these Dao flowers are indeed nothing to me, but I'm only a remnant soul now. I don't have enough strength to pass on my inheritance to you. Once I refine these Dao flowers, I'll be able to pass on my lifetime's inheritance to you. When the time comes, not only will I give you the scripture of darkness, but I'll also give you my apex great emperor weapon, the dark sky wheel. The dark demon emperor coughed softly and put on a serious face. His voice was full of temptation, making one's heart pound with eagerness. The scripture of darkness was a peerless imperial scripture. It contained the power of the heavenly Tao of darkness and was a supreme method that led directly to the great emperor realm. The dark sky wheel was also the dark demon emperor's apex great emperor weapon. In ancient times, the dark demon emperor had killed countless powerhouses with this weapon. Whether it was the scripture of darkness or the dark sky wheel, Darkness Lingxiao had heard of them all. They were legendary treasures of the dark demon sect. Master, 100 Dao flowers are probably just a drop in the bucket for you. Why don't I take you out of here first? With your strength, you'll be able to sweep through the chaos grounds after we leave. You'll be able to kill countless powerhouses of the third level of ascension and recover your strength. Dark High Firmament said with a smile and a respectful tone. The dark demon emperor gnashed his teeth in anger, but he still said patiently, Lingxiao, how about I pass on the scripture of darkness to you right now? Give me 100 Dao flowers and I'll be able to recover some of my strength. When the time comes, we'll sweep through the chaos grounds and you'll be the one chosen by heaven. The scripture of darkness? Your disciple thanks you, Master. Overjoyed, Darkness Lingxiao sat down cross-legged and waited for the dark demon emperor to pass on the scripture to him. Good. Guard your mind, I'll pass on the scripture to you right now. The dark demon emperor cursed inwardly, but he still smiled. The dark demon emperor and Darkness Lingxiao were like two foxes, one old and one young, scheming against each other. This made Darkness Lingxiao even more certain that there was something wrong with the dark demon emperor. Chapter 22-28. Darkness Lingxiao sat down cross-legged and guarded his mind. He looked very excited and full of anticipation, waiting for the Darkness Demon Emperor to pass the scripture of darkness to him. However, Darkness Lingxiao was sneering in his heart. He was on high alert and gathered the energy in his body, ready to attack the Darkness Demon Emperor at any time. After these two encounters and observations, Darkness Lingxiao had discovered the Darkness Demon Emperor's weakness. If he was caught off guard, he should be able to severely injure the Darkness Demon Emperor. After all, this old man was not the real Darkness Demon Emperor. He was just a remnant soul. Now, I will pass the scripture of darkness to you. The scripture of darkness is a supreme scripture that I created by combining all the knowledge I have learned in my life. It has unfathomable power. I hope that you will cultivate well and not bring shame to this emperor's name. The Darkness Demon Emperor said seriously. His face was solemn and dignified. Then, he pointed a finger at Darkness Lingxiao's forehead. Boom! Darkness Lingxiao didn't resist. There seemed to be a ball of black light exploding in his sea of consciousness between his eyebrows. Runes rose up, and chaotic light spread out. It was like a mysterious scene of the creation of the world. An ancient and mysterious scripture vaguely appeared, and a sound like a great bell rang out in Ling Zhao's ears. Darkness is the source, chaos is the sky, all living things are the body, all living things are the cycle, an ancient voice rang out, containing the majesty and profoundness of the great Tao. Even the dark and cloudy sea of consciousness trembled slightly, making him feel a kind of dark and deathly aura enveloping him. It was as if the world around him and all living things' final destination was an endless land of darkness. This is the real scripture of darkness. Darkness Lingxiao was shocked. Although he had never cultivated the scripture of darkness, he was almost instantly sure that the scripture that the Darkness Demon Emperor passed to him was the scripture of darkness. The vast concept of darkness that enveloped the chaos and caused all living things to return to the void and reincarnate seemed to be able to destroy everything, leaving only eternal darkness in the end. Only the scripture of darkness could have such a terrifying concept and power. However, Darkness Lingxiao did not dare to relax. He was still wary of the Darkness Demon Emperor, and at the same time, he quickly accepted the inheritance of the scripture of darkness. However, the true meaning of the Supreme Imperial Sutra was too vast, causing Darkness Soaring Sky to gradually lose himself. What he did not know was that as he accepted the inheritance of the scripture of darkness, the bones in his body began to tremble slightly. A dark aura was emanating from them. It was ancient, pure, and mysterious. Vaguely, an incomparably mysterious and majestic aura emerged. Dense black inscriptions covered dark soaring sky's bones. Every single inscription contained a vast law of the ways, giving off an eternal presence. Moreover, a mysterious power began to emanate from dark soaring sky's bones. He himself did not know that such a change had occurred in dark soaring cloud's body, and neither did Dark Devil Emperor. Are you already lost? How dare an ant-like thing covet the scripture of darkness? If you don't want to hand over the flowers, then leave your life behind. You're more suitable than those Tao flowers. The Darkness Demon Emperor's face regained its cold and cruel expression as he sneered. There was a hint of heat in his eyes, and in an instant, the dark light around him became incomparably hot. He turned into a stream of light and flew into darkness soaring cloud's sea of consciousness. Rumble. In the dark sea of consciousness, it was as if there were endless thunderbolts blooming. A huge, stalwart, ancient, and majestic black figure appeared in his sea of consciousness. It was like an indomitable demon god, exuding an insufferably arrogant aura. This figure was the Darkness Demon Emperor. He stared at the black nascent spirit enveloped by the scripture of darkness, his eyes full of excitement. How many years has it been? I can finally leave this damned place. You can't trap me, Darkness Demon Emperor, no one can. When I'm free, I'll bathe the Darkness Demon race in blood. He muttered to himself, his body exuding monstrous hatred and murderous intent. Dark soaring cloud's nascent spirit had sunk into a state of Tao comprehension. Enveloped by the scripture of darkness, he didn't notice anything out of the ordinary. His nascent spirit seemed to be in a strange state of slumber, floating in the endless darkness as it absorbed the power of the scripture of darkness and grew stronger and stronger. The figure stared at dark soaring clouds. Black demonic light surged around him as he pounced through the air, opening his mouth as if he'd transformed into an incomparably terrifying beast that wanted to devour dark soaring cloud's nascent spirit. Rumble. Black demonic light surged all around. The scripture of darkness had been imparted to dark soaring clouds by the figure, so it didn't hinder the figure in the slightest. It allowed him to approach dark soaring cloud's nascent spirit in the blink of an eye, and the terrifying power of devouring erupted from his mouth. He actually wanted to possess dark soaring firmament. The 100 Tao flowers had been very important to him, but dark soaring clouds seemed to have sensed something and decisively gave up on them. Instead, he used the scripture of darkness to tempt dark soaring clouds and began his possession. Dark soaring clouds contained an incomparably dense demonic aura within him, and he possessed the sage constitution of darkness. Unfortunately, he hadn't condensed a Tao fruit, so he was an excellent cauldron for dark soaring clouds. As long as he possessed dark soaring clouds, he'd be able to borrow his body to be reborn and leave this sunless place. Just as he was about to completely devour dark soaring cloud's nascent spirit, the surrounding sea of consciousness suddenly shook and an incomparably mysterious sound wave pervaded the air. At first, the sound wave was very weak, but in the end, it was like a great river, crashing into the heavens and rumbling like a trillion bolts of lightning descending directly. Dark soaring cloud's nascent spirit suddenly became illusory and disappeared in front of the figure. What? The figure was completely dumbfounded. He'd never thought that such a change would occur. Rumble. Boundless dark divine light surged within dark soaring cloud's body, and runes rose one after another before finally converging together into a torrent that soared into the sky and entered his sea of consciousness. An incomparably terrifying aura emerged, vaguely forming a huge black palm print. Interwoven with mysterious patterns, it was as if all the worlds in the universe were under this palm. It was overbearing to the extreme. Do you think an evil creature like you can covet the person I've chosen? A thunderous voice exploded in darkness Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness. The palm print rumbled and pressed down on the old man who called himself the Dark Demon Emperor. You're... No. The old man's eyes revealed an incomparably frightened look. As if he had thought of something, he couldn't help but shout. But before he could finish his words, the terrifying palm print fell. The old man's body trembled violently and exploded with a loud bang. Boom. Chapter 22-29. Roar. After the old man's primordial spirit shattered, the fragments sparkled brilliantly. Vaguely, an ancient and mysterious beast appeared in dark firmament's sea of consciousness. The beast exuded a monstrous murderous aura. It looked like a black single-horned rhinoceros. Its body was covered in black dragon scales that looked like mysterious runes. It contained the aura of the Great Tao, and its eyes were filled with endless murderous intent and unwillingness. It floated in dark firmament's sea of consciousness, as if it could tear the world apart at any time. Its murderous aura was so dense that it was almost tangible. Rumble. The phantom of the beast instantly entered dark firmament's primordial spirit. Dark Ling Xiao's body erupted with boundless black demonic light. The surrounding void violently trembled. Mysterious runes appeared around his body. His entire body began to float. His bones began to glow, exuding an incomparably dense source of darkness. A majestic aura that didn't belong to him erupted from his body. Dark firmament's aura began to rise. 2 black flowers of the Great Tao appeared above his head. They contained a rich aura of darkness, swaying in the void. As dark firmament's comprehension of the scripture of darkness deepened, his entire body seemed to disappear into the dark void. A wave of breakthrough erupted. Boom! Black lightning blazed around him. His entire body instantly soared into the sky. His eyes slowly opened. It was as if he could split the world apart, causing the world to change color. He was majestic and mysterious. The Great Tao transformed into divine chains of order, enveloping his body. Runes merged into his body, causing his aura to become more and more terrifying. Above dark firmament's head, the 3rd flower of the Great Tao slowly bloomed. In an instant, the world shook and the chaos boiled. It was as if all the great Taos of the world were cheering in unison. The vast divine sound of the Great Tao resounded through the sky. The 3rd flower of the Great Tao looked ethereal and mysterious. It flowed with the fluctuations of time, as if it came from the future and didn't exist in this world. It allowed dark firmament to vaguely see the future in the river of time. Is this the heavenly realm? Dark firmament muttered to himself. Light flashed in his eyes, making him look incomparably mysterious. He felt that his entire body was filled with endless power. He could shatter the void with a raise of his hand. The power of the origin of darkness flowed in his body, causing his body, primordial spirit, and laws to all reach the realm of perfection. The 3rd heavenly realm could be said to be a 12-revolution half-saint. Once he broke through to the saint realm, he would be an invincible saint. Dark firmament felt that the bottleneck of the saint realm completely disappeared. He could become a saint at any time as long as he wanted. So, that old thing who calls himself the Dark Devil Emperor is actually the ancient ferocious beast, the sky-rending centipede? There was a strange look in Firmament's eyes. The sky-rending Ho was an ancient ferocious beast that had been tamed by the Darkness Devil Emperor. Its strength was extremely terrifying and it had perished together with the Darkness Devil Emperor. However, it had once cultivated the darkness scripture of the Darkness Devil Emperor. However, because it had perished countless years ago, the remnant soul of the sky-rending Ho could only struggle at death's door in this darkness source land. Ling Xiao had refined the remnant soul of the sky-shattering roar, so he had seen part of its memories. As it turned out, it wanted Ling Xiao to kill an expert at the 3rd level of heaven treading because the flower of ways of the expert was a great tonic to it. It could solidify its remnant soul and increase its strength. Unfortunately, Dark Firmament was more cautious and didn't give it the flower of ways. That was why the Dark Firmament had to take the risk of passing the scripture of darkness to Dark Firmament and find an opportunity to possess it. However, it didn't expect that not only did it fail to possess Dark Firmament, but its soul would also completely disperse. It died in an extremely aggrieved manner. When I was comprehending the scripture of darkness, I really did fall into a state of unconsciousness. How did the Dark Firmament die? Dark Firmament felt a lingering fear, but he was also extremely puzzled. When he woke up, the soul of the Dark Firmament had already shattered into countless pieces. As for how the Dark Firmament died, Dark Firmament didn't remember. He couldn't find it in the memories of the Dark Firmament. This feeling of not being able to control was very unpleasant. Could it be that I have some power that can restrain the soul of the Dark Firmament? Dark Firmament thought to himself. However, he couldn't find anything after a careful examination. He simply stopped thinking about it and carefully studied the scripture of darkness he had obtained. This scripture of darkness is indeed a supreme scripture. It comes from the same origin as the cultivation methods of the Dark Firmament sect. It contains supreme power that can lead to the Emperor realm. Hun Tian and Yuluo Sha clearly know that I have the sacred body of darkness, but they didn't pass the scripture of darkness to me. They probably don't trust me. However, they didn't expect that I would be able to obtain the complete scripture of darkness here. I just heard from the Dark Firmament that the Dark Firmament seemed to know the whereabouts of the Dark Firmament, but why didn't I see any information about the Dark Firmament in its memories? Dark Firmament sneered and muttered to himself. The Dark Firmament sect was the orthodoxy of the Dark Firmament Emperor, and they had the complete scripture of darkness. However, they didn't pass it down to Dark Firmament. Dark Firmament knew that Hun Tian and Yuluo Sha were still holding back. As for the Dark Firmament wheel, it was the Dark Firmament Emperor's apex emperor weapon. The Dark Firmament sect had been searching for the Dark Firmament wheel all these years, but they didn't find anything. Legend has it that the scripture of darkness and the Dark Firmament wheel can sense each other. If the Dark Firmament wheel is in the chaotic ancient land, I might be able to find the whereabouts of the Dark Firmament wheel with the help of the scripture of darkness. Dark Firmament's eyes lit up slightly as he made up his mind. If he could obtain the Dark Firmament wheel, an apex emperor weapon like the Dark Firmament wheel, he would immediately possess invincible combat strength. He would even be able to fight against a great sage or sage ruler. He might even be able to kill them. The valley in front of him contained rich darkness origin energy. It was a good place for him to cultivate the scripture of darkness. Dark Firmament decided to stay here and focus on cultivating the scripture of darkness. Have you heard? Long Outyen of the War God Temple killed the Blood Prison Emperor of the Demon Realm and obtained the supreme treasure from the Blood Prison Emperor. Long Outyen? Isn't he dead? I didn't expect him to come to the chaotic ancient land alive. That's right. I didn't expect the human race to have such a peerless genius. The son of the Heavenly Emperor already made people feel that the human race's luck was endless. I didn't expect the human race to have such a monster like Long Outyen. Hee, so what if he's a monster? I've heard that the Blood Prison Emperor's death has enraged the demon realm. Even the Blood Prison Emperor has issued a decree for the demon realm to kill Long Outyen. I've heard that the original prince and the undying prince have begun to gather the elites of the demon race to hunt Long Outyen. Hunt Long Outyen? Hiss. The demon realm has really gone mad. Chapter 2230. The chaotic ancient land was in an uproar because of a piece of news. No one knew where the news came from, but Long Outyen of the War God Temple had killed the Blood Prison Emperor's son of the demon realm. This news shocked everyone. Who was the Blood Prison Emperor's son? The original prince, the Blood Prison Emperor's son, and the undying prince were the strongest in the demon realm. Legend had it that they had all reached the third heaven realm. They were the ones who stood at the peak of the chaotic ancient land. Some people even thought that the three princes were on par with the emperors of the human race. They were the most promising people to become the chosen ones. Now that Long Outyen had killed the Blood Prison Emperor's son, Long Outyen's name instantly spread throughout the chaotic ancient land. Many people were looking for Long Outyen's whereabouts. At this moment, the original prince and the undying prince also announced at the same time that they would lead the experts of the demon race to hunt Long Outyen. They also issued a kill order. Anyone who could provide Long Outyen's whereabouts and kill him would be able to obtain a supreme emperor scripture. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. This was simply a matter of life and death. Among the many people looking for Long Outyen, there were those who wanted to help Long Outyen secretly. There were also those who had ulterior motives. But because of this news, all of them were in an uproar. On a towering mountain peak, the Wuji saint stood with his hands behind his back. The Yuanqian saint stood behind him respectfully. Yuanqian, shouldn't you give me an explanation for this? The Wuji saint said faintly without turning his head. The Yuanqian saint's expression turned cold. He quickly said, Brother Wuji, I'm doing this for the good of the human race. For the good of the human race? I don't see it. I only see that after you spread this news, Long Outyen will become the target of public criticism. Even if he is a genius, it will be difficult for him to escape the hunt of the demon race. The Wuji saint slowly turned around and stared at the Yuanqian saint with a sharp gaze. The Yuanqian saint coughed and said with a smile, Brother Wuji, you really misunderstood me. I didn't expect Long Outyen to be able to kill the Blood Prison Emperor's son. This was the result of Tianzi's divination. He felt that this was a good opportunity to wipe out all the devil experts in one fell swoop. Original Prince and Undying Prince had joined forces with countless demon clan rankers to surround and hunt Long Ao Tian. However, they did not know that the mantis stalks the cicada while the oriole is behind. The Son of Heaven would lead many experts to capture Original Prince and Undying Prince in one fell swoop. At that time, His Excellency the Son of Heaven will become the heaven's chosen son and create the new era of the human race. It will be another grand event for the human race. When mentioning the Son of Heaven, Yuanqian Saint Sun's face was also full of fanaticism. But if that's the case, I'm afraid Long Outyen will die. The Wuji Saint said after a moment of silence. Long Outyen should feel honored. The Yuanqian saint sneered and said, using his life in exchange for the future of the human tribe, in exchange for the annihilation of all the demon tribe's prodigies. Even if he knew, he would definitely agree. This is for the greater good of our human race. Even if we have to sacrifice him, we have no other choice. Have no choice. Yuanqian, if Long Outyen hadn't saved you in the end, I'm afraid you would have died in the hands of the Blood Prison Emperor. I didn't expect that even you would seek refuge with the Son of Heaven. Your so-called greater good of the human race shouldn't be based on sacrificing Long Outyen. This is unfair to him. Sorry, I won't participate in your affairs. The Wuji saint said lightly. Brother Wuji, I admit that you are very strong. You have the chaotic sacred body, cultivate the chaotic secret technique, and are the successor of the chaotic heavenly sect. But you don't understand the greatness of the Son of Heaven. I advise you to think about it carefully. If you follow the Son of Heaven, your future will be infinitely bright. But if you refuse the Son of Heaven, I'm afraid it's not a wise choice. The Yuanqian saint's son sneered, and the respect in his eyes for the Wuji saint began to dissipate slowly. There was even a sense of superiority in his eyes, and his expression was incomparably cold. The Son of Heaven. I really want to see how strong he is. Yuanqian, since you have made a choice, then from today onwards, our friendship will be severed. From now on, we will be strangers to each other. The Wuji saint's eyes revealed a trace of sharpness as he stared at the Yuanqian saint's son and said coldly. Brother Wuji, I hope you won't regret it in the future. The Yuanqian saint's son smiled faintly, then turned around and soared into the sky. Soon, he turned into a stream of flowing light and disappeared into the horizon. Long Outyen, good luck. The Wuji saint stood in the clouds and muttered to himself with a somewhat complicated expression. Then, he flew in another direction. The blood sea was boiling, and a blood cocoon looked like a blood-red sun, blooming with dazzling light. Ling Xiao had been cultivating in the blood cocoon for 9 days, and there was still no sign of him coming out. Swoosh! A figure flew from a distance at an extremely fast speed and arrived in the blood sea in an instant. Old goat, what's the situation outside? Taoist Wuliang looked at the figure and asked. That figure was Old Goat. Ling Xiao had fallen into a state of cultivation in the blood cocoon. Jin Sei, Old Goat, Taoist Wuliang, and Feng Qingyang were guarding Ling Xiao. However, they still felt that the death of the Blood Hell Emperor's son was very important, so they asked Old Goat to go out and inquire about the situation. The situation is very bad. The news that Ling Xiao killed the Blood Hell Emperor's son has been spread out. Now, many people are looking for Ling Xiao's whereabouts, and the original Emperor's son and the Undying Emperor's son are preparing to lead the demon race experts to hunt Ling Xiao. Old Goat frowned and told him what he knew from the outside world. What? This must be the news that the Wuji and Yuanqin Saint's son spread. They are really ungrateful. If Ling Xiao did not hold back the Blood Hell Emperor's son and the Blood Demon Emperor, they would not have been able to escape. Feng Qingyang's eyes were filled with disbelief as he said angrily. We were originally in a hostile state with them, but we temporarily joined forces to fight against the Blood Hell Emperor's son. However, the Wuji Saint and Yuanqin Saint's son really deserve to die. Taoist Wuliang's eyes also revealed a trace of killing intent. This news caught them off guard. Ling Xiao had killed the Blood Hell Emperor's son. Although they knew that this matter was bound to cause an uproar, it was impossible for ordinary people to know that the Blood Hell Emperor's son was dead. They expected that even if this matter fermented, it would still take some time for them to deal with it calmly. However, they did not expect this matter to erupt so quickly. The entire chaotic ancient land was boiling because of this matter. Although they were angry at the ingratitude of the Wuji Saint and Yuanqin Saint's son, what was more important was how to deal with the next crisis. Ling Xiao was still cultivating in the blood cocoon. It seemed that he had reached a critical moment, so they did not want to disturb his cultivation. However, since the original Emperor's son and the Undying Emperor's son had said that they would hunt Ling Xiao down, it would not take long for them to find this place. Chapter 22:31. Jin Sei, what should we do? The old goat looked at Jin Sei and asked. Taoist Wuliang and Feng Qingyang looked at Jin Sei at the same time. Ling Xiao was in the midst of his cultivation and they had unknowingly treated Jin Sei as their pillar of support. Jin Sei thought for a moment and said slowly, since the original prince and the Undying Prince have decided to hunt Ling Xiao down, we can't let our guard down, regardless of whether the Wuji Saint and the Yuanqin Saint have exposed this place. I will set up the Supreme Yin-Yang formation here and seal this place. Hopefully, it can buy us some time. When Ling Xiao comes out, we will leave immediately. Supreme Yin-Yang formation. Is it the legendary protective formation of the Taishangdao Palace? That's great. The Supreme Yin-Yang formation is said to be the Supreme Emperor formation. Even if it can produce 1 in 10,000 of the Emperor formation, it will be enough for us to protect ourselves. The old goat's eyes lit up. What's so great about it? Junior sister Jin Sei, I disagree. It's true that the Supreme Yin-Yang formation is the Supreme Emperor formation of the Taishangdao Palace. However, even a sage would find it difficult to set up this formation with his own strength. You can't take the risk. Feng Qingyang quickly stopped her, his eyes filled with worry. I've made up my mind. I have the Taishangdao body and the Taishang sword. Although I will have to pay a price, it shouldn't be a problem to set up the Supreme Yin-Yang formation. However, you have to help me. Jin Sei said flatly with a calm expression. But, Feng Qingyang wanted to refute, but when he saw Jin Sei's expression, he knew that Jin Sei had made up her mind. He smiled bitterly in his heart and nodded without saying anything. Jin Sei, thank you. The old goat and Taoist Wuliang said solemnly. Although they knew that Jin Sei and Ling Xiao would not hesitate to die for each other, the current Jin Sei was not the Jin Sei of the past. She did not remember Ling Xiao and had forgotten the past. However, she was still willing to take the risk for Ling Xiao, which was already commendable. You're welcome. I owe him this. Jin Sei said flatly. Swoosh. She instantly soared into the sky. Her red dress fluttered like flowing flames. Her white hair danced in the wind, making her look like a fairy from the 9th heaven. She had a peerless aura. Her eyes were dazzling and resplendent like the stars in the 9 heavens. They were deep and vast, and they contained an indifferent emotion like the heaven Tao. At this moment, she looked up at the sky. Dazzling sword light shot out from her eyes, piercing through the void. Rumble. A vast and mysterious aura fluctuated around her. It was like the mysterious way of the heavens, filled with the power of the origin of the great path. It was like streaks of dazzling sword light. They formed around her and shot downwards in an instant. Jinsei used a yin-yang secret technique and chaotic mist rose around her. Heaven and earth trembled violently as a vast and ancient aura gushed out. A huge formation descended from the sky, enveloping Ling Xiao and the surrounding blood sea. Clouds and mist swirled around them and instantly fused with the surrounding space. Rumble. Lightning blazed and rose. An ancient world seemed to have formed around Jinsei. Yin and yang qi rose and divine chains of order traversed the void, forming streaks of blazing sword light. It was like a domain of swords. Jinsei's face turned pale at a speed visible to the naked eye. It was obvious that such a formation was a huge burden on her. Crack. The Taishang sword in Jinsei's hand soared into the sky, blooming with dazzling light. It instantly flew into the huge formation and landed in the center. It was like a divine pillar that shot straight into the sky. Rumble. Within the huge formation boundary, divine light surged, lightning blazed, and sword qi wreaked havoc. Vaguely, a vast Taiji diagram appeared. Jinsei stood in the middle of the Taiji diagram. Her aura rose in the eyes of the black yin-yang fish. Terrifying power was injected into the Taiji diagram. Feng Qingyang. Jinsei said softly. Yes. Feng Qingyang, who had long been prepared, soared into the sky. Blazing flames rose from his body, blooming with endless light and heat. He landed directly on the white yin-yang fish eye. Rumble. Yin and yang qi flowed between Jinsei and Feng Qingyang. A lofty and mysterious aura erupted. It was as if the heavenly way had manifested and dominated this part of the world. The power in Jinsei and Feng Qingyang's body surged madly into the formation, causing the aura of the formation to weaken. Then, it completely merged with the surrounding heaven and earth. The formation is complete. Jinsei scolded softly. She then bit the tip of her tongue and spat out a mouthful of blood essence. Blood mist rolled and every drop of blood became sparkling and translucent. They fell into the surrounding void and interweaved into a mysterious net, concealing it. Zhou Tian shook violently. The sun and moon lost their light. Divine light turned into a storm and spread in all directions. Powerful spatial fluctuations shook. One could vaguely see that a huge formation had enveloped this part of the void. The clouds outside had completely turned into a part of the Avalon of 5 elements. Jinsei and Feng Qingyang shuddered and almost fell from the void. Old Goat and Taoist Wuliang were quick to react. They quickly leaped into the sky and helped the two of them down. The supreme yin-yang formation has been completed. Even a sage would find it difficult to discover this place. Moreover, the supreme yin-yang formation has both offensive and defensive capabilities. It should be able to buy some time. Let's hope Ling Xiao can come out soon. Jinsei said slowly with a pale face. Junior sister Jinsei, don't talk anymore. Quickly consume this healing elixir and recuperate. Feng Qingyang said worriedly as he passed the elixir bottle to Jinsei after consuming a sacred elixir. I'm fine. Jinsei shook her head. She did not consume the elixir. Instead, she sat down with her legs crossed. The aura around her was mysterious and ethereal. She began to devour the origin energy around her to heal herself. Let's hope Ling Xiao can come out soon. Although the supreme yin-yang formation is strong, I'm afraid it can't contend with the original prince and the undying prince. Old Goat looked at Ling Xiao and said worriedly. I can also smell a dangerous aura approaching. 9 days have passed. I'm afraid the original prince and the undying prince will arrive soon. This time, the demons are determined to take Ling Xiao's life. No matter what, we have to help him buy some time. Taoist Wuliang took a deep breath and said. The space they were in had been enveloped by the supreme yin-yang formation. From the outside, this area was surrounded by clouds and looked very ordinary. It was no different from the other areas in the Avalon of 5 elements. Chapter 22-32. Rumble. Heaven and earth shook violently. Clouds and mist surged as if a magnificent army was galloping towards them. The monstrous aura instantly broke the tranquility of the Avalon of 5 elements and arrived at this peaceful sea of clouds. It was a group of demon clan experts wearing black armor and riding black unicorns. Their auras were monstrous and filled the air with killing intent. Their bodies were shrouded in darkness, revealing only a pair of cruel and bloodthirsty eyes. They were like a black torrent that came from afar. Their footsteps were orderly and silent. An incomparably oppressive aura filled the air, causing one's heart to tremble. "Stop!" The leader of the black-armored knights waved his hand. Immediately, everyone stopped in their tracks and stood rooted to the ground. Under the orders of the original prince and the undying prince, the Devil Sky Army will be the vanguard. According to our intelligence, Long Out Yen is hiding in the Avalon of 5 elements. I hope that everyone can find Long Out Yen's whereabouts before the 2 princes arrive. When the time comes, the princes will not be stingy with their rewards. The leader of the black-armored knights swept his cold gaze across the crowd and said, "Yes." Numerous black-armored knights shouted in unison, their voices shaking the clouds. "Now, split into groups of 5 and search for Long Out Yen's whereabouts." With the black-armored leader's command, the demonic Sky Legion immediately spread out like a flood. Groups of 5 people surged out in all directions. Rumble. Their bodies emitted a monstrous amount of demonic light as they charged through the Avalon of 5 elements with huge spears in their hands. Spear radiance swept in all directions, searching for the existence of the void boundary. They advanced in all directions in an orderly manner, hoping to find the whereabouts of Ling Xiao and the rest. "They're here." When the Devil Sky Army arrived at the Avalon of 5 elements, the old goat, Taoist Wuliang, and Feng Qingyang had already discovered their tracks. They didn't intend to hide their auras and barged in so arrogantly. Do they really think we're pushovers? But to mobilize 10,000 demon clan experts at once, it's really a big move. The old goat sneered. At the same time, he was extremely shocked. These black-armored knights weren't only at the semi-sage realm. Moreover, there were more than 10,000 of them. They were connected to each other in a battle array. Their auras were extremely terrifying. Every one of them was a veteran of hundreds of battles. Their strength was extremely formidable. Even a sage would not dare to face the might of the Devil Sky Army head-on. The original prince and the undying prince did not appear. I'm afraid that the Devil Sky Army is only their vanguard. This time, it seems that the demon bastards of the Devil Realm have really gone crazy. They won't stop until they kill us. Taoist Wuliang said slowly. We'll wait. Jin Se has already laid down the supreme Yin-Yang Grand Array. With the strength of these fiend whelps, it's still impossible for them to discover our whereabouts. We can't expose our position right now. The old goat glanced at Jin Se, who was still recuperating, and said coldly. That's the only way. Now is not the time to alert the enemy. Taoist Wuliang nodded. There were tens of thousands of experts in the vanguard. The imposing manner of the Devil Sky Army also gave the old goat and Taoist Wuliang a lot of pressure. However, they were confident in the supreme Yin-Yang Grand Array laid down by Jin Se. The Devil Sky Army should not be able to discover them during this period of time. Rumble. The demonic Sky Army began a large-scale search for Ling Xiao's whereabouts in the entire Avalon of 5 elements. The calm and peaceful sea of clouds became turbulent and turbulent. The floating mountains were smashed into fine powder by the demonic Sky Army. Every nook and cranny of the void was checked by them. They were extremely violent. Everywhere they went, they were like locusts passing through. They did not let go of any traces. The void trembled violently. Some parts of the void even shattered. Endless void turbulence surged and wreaked havoc in all directions. The Devil Sky Army used 3 days to search the entire Avalon of 5 elements. However, it was a pity that they did not find anything. Report, there's nothing in the east. Report, there's nothing in the west. Report, there's nothing in the south. Warriors in black armor rushed over from all directions and reported to the leader of the Devil Sky Army in the center. That Long Out Yen is really good at hiding. The Avalon of 5 elements has been sealed by us. I'm sure he's still there. Continue to search. Even if you have to dig 3 feet into the ground, you have to find Long Out Yen. The leader of the Devil Sky Army said with an ugly expression. Although the Devil Sky Army was the vanguard, they were also the power that original prince relied on the most. They had searched here for 3 days but did not find anything. It was difficult to report to the 2 princes. Yes. Many of the warriors in black armor dispersed and headed in all directions again. They were prepared to search for a second time. Rumble. At this moment, blazing divine light rose in the void. Heaven and earth shook. A group of figures with terrifying auras descended from the 9 heavens and landed in the sea of clouds. Leading them were 2 handsome young men. One was wearing a black robe, while the other was wearing a white robe. Both of them had an imposing aura and emitted an ancient and dignified aura. Greetings to the 2 princes. When the leader of the Devil Sky Army saw the 2 young men, he could not help but tremble. He quickly went forward and bowed. Rise. Did you not find any traces of Long Out Yen in these 3 days? He hid it really well. Original Prince said indifferently. There was a cold glint in his eyes. He was wearing a black robe. His figure was slender and strong. His long black hair was draped behind his head. His face was extremely handsome. His eyes were deep and cold. He had a dignified aura. Standing beside him was the Undying Prince in a white robe. He looked handsome and elegant. His long white hair danced in the wind. There was a faint smile at the corner of his mouth. His eyes were deep and vicissitudes of life seemed to contain a vast world. Both of their auras were extremely terrifying. They did not hide it at all. They were like 2 blazing suns, emitting a vast and powerful aura. Behind them, there was a group of experts with different appearances. There were old and young, men and women. All of them were unruly and had unfathomable auras. Among those people, there were experts from the devil race and experts from other races. They had all followed the 2 princes to kill Ling Xiao and share the supreme inheritance on Ling Xiao. Prince, I am incompetent. The leader of the Devil Sky Army smiled bitterly. It's not that you are incompetent. It's that Long Out Yen is too cunning. I have already sensed that the Blood Hell Prince died here. Long Out Yen should not have left yet. The inheritance of the Blood Devil Emperor is not that easy to refine. Primordial Prince sneered. Since he is not willing to come out, then force him out. He dared to kill the Blood Hell Prince. It is not his style to hide like this. Undying Prince said slowly. His voice was indifferent and ethereal. It sounded very strange as if it contained the aura of endless time. Chapter 2233. I want to see where Long Out Yen can hide. Original Prince laughed coldly, his eyes filled with cold murderous intent. Previously, in the battle with Ling Xiao, the original prince had been defeated and fled, causing him to feel extremely humiliated. He had even developed a mental demon, and he was also the person who wanted Ling Xiao's life the most. Now that he was in the sea of clouds in the Avalon of 5 elements, he was the first to attack. Rumble. Original Prince was surrounded by a black demonic light. Ancient runes bloomed in the void and instantly formed a sky full of flames. They contained a mysterious and ancient aura, as if they could destroy the heavens and the earth. This was the primordial devil flame cultivated by the prince of primordial origin. It originated from his bloodline and was his innate ability. Legend had it that it was the supreme flame of the primordial devil emperor, capable of incinerating thousands of worlds. It was infamous in ancient times. The original demonic flame burned fiercely in the void, as if it could burn anything. The clouds were ablaze, forming a sky full of flames that spread in all directions. Original Prince, are you trying to destroy the entire Avalon of 5 elements? A demon race expert shuddered and cried out in alarm. Original Prince is unfathomable and the original demonic flame is the supreme flame. It seems like Long Out Yen can't escape this time. That's right. Under the original demonic flame, no formation can hide. Many demon experts were filled with confidence. Their eyes were filled with coldness and murderous intent, ready to attack at any time. In the void, a terrifying aura was brewing. It was as dangerous as a volcano that was about to erupt. The Avalon of 5 Elements was a secret territory in the chaotic ancient land. It was rumored to have the inheritance of an ancient expert. It was extremely mysterious, causing the laws here to be different from the outside world. It was filled with the rich origin of 5 elements. Even a sage would find it difficult to investigate the entire Avalon of 5 elements. The Devil Sky Army could not find the whereabouts of Ling Xiao and the rest. Original Prince guessed that Ling Xiao and the rest must have set up a powerful concealment formation. He did not bother to investigate. Instead, he simply used the original demonic flame. The primal demonic flames could burn the heavens and extinguish the earth. Whether it was all living things or the great Tao laws, they could all be transformed into the energy of the primal demonic flames. When Ling Xiao fought with Ling Xiao before, Ling Xiao found it extremely difficult to deal with. In the Supreme Yin-Yang formation, the faces of the old goat, Taoist Wu-Yang, and Feng Qingyang turned ghastly pale. Damn it! I never thought that the original prince would actually use the primordial devil flame. Under such circumstances, I'm afraid that we will be exposed soon. The old goat said hatefully. There's nothing we can do about it. Original Prince and Undying Prince have a lot of tricks up their sleeves. Their strength is unfathomable. It won't be hard for them to find us. We can only hope that Ling Xiao wakes up soon. Taoist Wu-Yang glanced at Ling Xiao in the distance. A huge, blood-red cocoon floated in the sea of blood. It radiated with endless light and heat, constantly devouring the surrounding blood-red light. At the same time, blood-red tentacles extended into the depths of space, absorbing energy from the endless space. The blood-red cocoon was extremely dazzling at this moment, like a blood-red sun. The old goat, Taoist Wu-Yang, and the rest could feel the terrifying energy contained in the blood-red cocoon. It was as if Ling Xiao could break through at any time. What should we do now? With our strength, we are definitely not a match for these demon bastards. Feng Qingyang said with some reluctance. Although he wanted to rush out and fight with these demon race experts, he knew that it was unrealistic. The hunt for Ling Xiao this time was led by the original prince and the Undying Prince. Almost all the prodigies of the devil world were mobilized. There was even the Devil Sky Army. In the face of such terrifying power, even a saint would be torn to pieces instantly. Wait. Even if they can find us, it won't be that easy for them to break through the Supreme Yin-Yang formation. We have to fight for time for Ling Xiao. If we can't defeat them in the end, we can only forcefully wake Ling Xiao up and escape from here. Jean Sei said calmly. Her eyes were filled with killing intent. The old goat and the rest nodded. If it came down to it, this was the only way. Although they could feel that this seclusion was extremely important to Ling Xiao, and it might even determine whether Ling Xiao could step into a higher realm, they could only forcefully wake Ling Xiao up if it was a matter of life and death. After all, saving their lives was more important. Rumble. As the primordial demonic flames spread out, it instantly enveloped a radius of tens of thousands of miles. The surrounding space violently trembled and distorted. The clouds and mist had turned into a part of the sea of flames. Even the mountains floating above the sea of clouds were burned to ashes by the sea of flames. The original prince floated in the sky, with demonic light spewing out from his body. His eyes were as sharp as swords, exuding endless killing intent and killing intent. Especially the domineering and majestic aura on his body, it was as if a demon emperor had awakened. Kacha! A crisp sound rang out in the void as runes were annihilated. Then, the void distorted and blazing divine light rose. The primordial demonic flames seemed to have encountered some kind of obstruction and could no longer spread forward. In the void, yin and yang qi flowed and an ancient and mysterious formation world vaguely appeared. The supreme yin-yang array had appeared. It is indeed an array. What array is this? The original prince sneered. His eyes were blazing, but suddenly his eyes flashed. He realized that when the primordial demon flames came into contact with the array world, a surge of yin and yang qi flowed, devouring the primordial demon flames and turning them into the power of the array. In front of this great array, the primordial devil flame actually had no way to break it open. The supreme yin-yang array of the Supreme Tao Palace? I didn't expect there to be people from the Supreme Tao Palace here. It seems like the War God Hall and the Supreme Tao Palace have formed an alliance. The undying prince's eyes flashed as he said calmly. He seemed to be very familiar with the forces in the divine world. He could tell at a glance that the array before him was the Supreme Tao Palace's protective array. Someone from the Supreme Tao Palace? I heard that most of the disciples in the Supreme Tao Palace are female. Could it be that the legendary holy maiden with the Supreme Tao body is here? Open the array obediently. If you are willing